We are live.
We
Ooh.
are. We are live.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Welcome once again, anybody who watches this and is watching this. This is Mike. I'm Jimmy. We are Bacon is My Podcast, and we are making a Bacon is My Passion record. And we've invited everybody to kind of jump in and watch the process from writing to recording to putting something out, production, pre-production, and this is our buddy David Caggiano. Producer, engineer extraordinaire. He's worked with both of us on our other projects, Craving Strange, Something Heavy, Last Turn Off Broadway, and many other things. And we'll put his links, and you can find him if you want to work with him. And we've invited Dave to come on and do this with us and talk to us about everything about these songs and kind of tear them apart with us. So with that, we will leave you guys to talk to each other and hopefully get something and enjoy this. And other than that, let's jump right in.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
What's going on, Dave?
What's up, guys? What's happening?
So what? Just real quick, because basically, I think what everybody needs to know is what a producer is going to do, right? So we sent you 5 songs, the 5 songs that we listened to a couple weeks ago, here on this stream. What is it that you're gonna do with these songs? What are you gonna ask us? What kind of stuff?
Well, ultimately, when it comes to the songs, it's like I feel like since you guys are the songwriters, the artists, like you're the parents, right? You gave birth to these babies, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. You know, but like, so I'm like the weird old uncle who comes in and gives them presents and stuff, and can tell you, hey, your kid's an asshole or something.
Right.
You know, and like without, you know, because, you know, when you have your children, and Mike, you know this because you actually have children, you know, like you love your kids, but sometimes you're a little too close to it to recognize, do I have the smelly kid or something like that, you know, or like it's like, you know, or whatever, you know,
right.
And it's like, maybe I can come in and be like, yeah, your kid stinks or something like that, you know, or like, you know, something of that nature, you know,
right.
Just more of an objective look at things.
Yes,
because you're
almost
so
like
close, you know?
an additional member of the process, the band, for a little while anyway.
A member of the band who has complete objectivity.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
No agenda, you know, other than can we make these better? Can we do something to help the process along to make them be all they can be?
That's what's been cool. Like that's the main reason why I keep coming back to working with you, is for that exact reason. Is it's an objective ear. It's an eye for detail. It's being able to help. You've helped me definitely like realize ideas, you know, that like I'm half verbalizing and you're getting what I'm saying, and you know, like going into something, working with you and being like, we need a violin on this, let me sing it, or like this needs to be a dance song, here's a dance break idea that I want to do, or things like that.
Which both happened, by the way. And you being someone that was able to kind of like take what I could not have done and gotten done, but like you realized what I was saying and you were able to make sense of it and go, okay, I see what you're doing and I see where it is in the song and I see the vision, and kind of jump in on it, and also reel me back sometimes where it's like, maybe you don't need 9 backups on this, maybe you don't need, you know, like things like that too. You know, I mean, it's the bottom line. I want to provide a forum for you guys where you can, you know, 100% be yourselves as artists, but we get the most mileage out of it at the same time without compromising a vision, really, you know?
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of people in my position, they can overdo it sometimes. Like they'll change things just to change things, you know. I mean, but that works for some producers, and that's their style and their brand, so to speak, and all that. Like they really get in there. I mean, if need be, I will, but for the most part, with guys like you, who I have an immense amount of respect for, your talents, and like, I mean, I want to let you just be you, and what can we do to just make that all come together as best as possible, you know?
That's been cool too. You never like ever struck me as trying to do something just to get your name in there on something.
Right.
You know, there's no like,
Right.
there's no like.
I'm
let me-
looking for points.
I need to put my stamp on this or anything like that. There were definitely times where you're like, I don't think that needs to be changed, you know. And then there have been times where you're like, change this little bit, and it was like, why did I think of that? It was so dumb.
I think
What a-
some. Don't you
know.
think some people have with producers that they think it's going to be like this nightmarish experience where they're going to be bossed around and cracked down upon, and like,
Right.
and you're going to change things, and it's not really like that. I mean, I only suggest changes if I think it can help. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that experience. That's why.
Right.
Did you have that experience?
I've been broken down quite a bit. Yes.
I think it's a good experience to have. Whether it's for you or not is another story. But I had it too, you know, where a producer came in the room and basically said, "You suck," you know, like it's.
Yeah.
He actually quote, "You sound like Joe Perry on a bad day." I was a guitar player in a former life,
Right,
so
right.
like, you know,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "Oh," but in the back of my mind, I'm going, "Okay, I'll take that."
I love Joe Perry.
Right.
Joe Perry's
Joe
awesome.
Perry's
But wait,
pretty
a
good.
Bad day though.
You know, I mean, it's like
half a
anything.
compliment, half a.
Yeah, he insulted everybody but our bass player. Basically, he insulted
Right.
my singer
Because nobody hears a bass player.
Yeah, nobody listens to me.
Yeah, he said, "You're all right." He pointed at the bass player, and he's like, "You sound like Joe Perry on a bad day." He's like, "You sound like a shitty James Hetfield." He said to the singer,
Right.
and the drummer, he goes, "And you're a disaster." He said to the drummer, which often happens. You know, it's like I don't know, and I was just like, "Whoa!" But you know, the thing was, after you get over the personal point of it, I guess he was fucking right though. That was the whole
Right,
thing.
right, yeah.
And then you
It-
take
yeah,
a hard look
sometimes-
at yourself.
Sometimes you need to hear it. Like one of the best things that I ever experienced was that realization of like, oh, we're not that good. I don't have the answer. This song isn't as good as I think it is. You know, or you know, and even like sometimes it's because something really wasn't good at all, and sometimes it's because little changes made it so much better. When in my brain it was like, we worked this, it's perfect, it's what it should be, and then there's like these little changes from outside that are like, try this, try that. This melody could be slightly different, and I'd be like, the melody? What do you mean the melody? And it's sing it this way instead of this way, and it's like, oh shit, that made a world of difference. Okay. Rewind in my brain, like
Isn't
if
the
I'm
process
loving it, that doesn't mean it's perfect. It
Yeah.
just means I'm happen to be loving it.
isn't the process? There's so many layers to it, and so
Yeah.
many like cracks and crevices to like tinker with and mess with, and you know, it's like there's always going to be something presenting itself that'll need an adjustment or need like my help, I guess, or something
Yeah.
to bring it out. So I try not to overdo it because it'll happen regardless, you know.
Yeah.
You guys need to be free to just do you know, because we're living in an age now where a lot of artists are recording themselves, and
Right.
it's a great thing because we have the technology where people can make pro sounding products at home or in their bedroom or in my case the basement, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but you still have to know how to corral it all from an arrangement standpoint, from a you know, there's so much to it. It's just like if you have like, and in the mixing process, people get lost a lot too. I've been doing a lot more mixing these days too for people
Right.
too, because so many artists are doing great things and like laying down tracks, but then they go, what do I do with this now? How do I get
Right,
this
right,
to sound good, you know? And then you got an old fart like me who's been doing it for a while, and I'll figure it out, you know? It's like, I'll show you. Here, you just got to piece it together and do this, do that. And they go, wow. And it's like, so it's nice to be able to have help at any stage now, you know? It's
Yeah.
nice. It's like, because I could be in for the full production. I could be in for the mix. I could be in for just pre-production or just vocal production. I'm doing all of that. And like, you know, for some people, some things it's the whole record, like Pathmaker and Revel 9, which I'm currently involved in now. And then like for an artist like Victoria Fiala, she's more of a folk rock singer, but she likes the way I do her vocals. I record her vocals and kind of do all the production on it. So she comes to me for that. She has a producer who does, you know, the macro stuff, you know, the mixing, the recording, all that
Right.
minutia. But she likes the way I record her vocals, so she comes to me on that, you know?
Yeah.
And I
That's
just produce
awesome.
the vocals, give her the tracks, and there you go, you know?
That's cool, and I think a lot of people don't realize that too, that's allowed. You know, like you can do
Right.
that. You can be like, hey, I really like the way that this place does drum sounds, and I really like the way that this person helps with the song arrangement and writing and pre-production, and this is where I like to get vocals done.
This is where like
do that
at the Grammys, the people thank their teams.
That's why there's a team.
Because there's a lot of people working on stuff. So
well, I think that's the big thing too, like their team. Like if you notice, whenever somebody does go up on an award show, they thank a team, and it's like, this is what this is. It's and you're never there's no level that you're at where you couldn't use the help of a team.
Yeah.
And start to build your team, and then bring that team with you as you go, and all that kind of good stuff too. So
it truly does take a village.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that's not hyperbole or bullshit or anything. It's like, and that's no slight on you guys, the artists. It's just I don't think people. It can be an overwhelming process doing all of this. So you kind of need people along the way to help you. It's like, look, if we say we had an unlimited budget for this thing, first thing I'd do is call in an engineer and call in like even I need help. I'd love to be able to just have an engineer where I don't have to do any of that, and I can just sit around and think about the songs and the performances only, nothing but that. Because like the first thing that I want to like distance myself from is the actual technical aspect of it. So I feel that interferes. Which side's the creative side, the right brain or the left brain, and the technical side, right? Aren't they two different things?
Right.
I don't know which one's which, but I want to be on that creative side of the brain only, so I can like immerse myself in that and not have to worry about the technicalities and like, oh God, is that mic too hot, or is like the mic placement off, or whatever like that. I'd love to hand that off to somebody who knows better than I do, even,
Yeah, that's my life right there. I hate all that stuff. That's why I come to you, and that's why I come to you.
But yeah, it takes a team for sure. That's why you hear all those people being thanked at the Grammys and stuff like that. There's a lot of people involved. And luckily, I've been fortunate enough to like kind of, just work with so many fine artists, you two obviously among them, and people keep coming back, which is really nice,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
You're okay, Dave. You're okay.
Yeah, you're a good egg.
I try.
So you've had these songs for about 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So on your what were your first kind of impressions, or what kind of questions do you have before we get into listening to them?
Well, I guess before like that, I wanted to kind of get a little backstory on all of it first.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I know you have your respective creative outlets, creating Strange Something Heavy previously for Mike, Last Turn Off Broadway, but what drew you together on this thing? It's like what was the idea behind it? What's the did you say, hey, we got to write some songs, or was it natural? How did it go about?
Kind of that.
It was one of those things where for a long time we were always like, we need to write together, because you talk and you're in bands and you complain about your band and you
right.
and you're like you get me, you get me too, and then we're like, you know what, we write together, we should write together, we should do something. So we finally did, and
we tried it, and we ended
it.
up writing which one was the first one? Surface was the first one, where we just kind of got together and did it, just threw it down, just he threw some drums down, programmed some drums down, I threw some guitar down, and then he literally handed me a notebook and basically was like, all right, write some lyrics. And I was like, huh? And it was like, let's do it right now. And it was the first time that I've written lyrics with somebody, and we just kind of threw ideas back and forth, and we were kind of like, okay,
notes,
let's kind of
lots of notes on the phone.
Yeah,
we did shared notes where
and
right.
It was the process for all these songs was about 3 months.
I mean, we put down probably fully fleshed out songs probably about 10, and then ideas we did about 18.
Yeah. We got together once a week, and every week we wrote a song.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah, and beginning to end, quote.
Right.
And then we kind of had the idea, for a while it was an idea of, let's put something together with some other guys in bands that we like, and let's kind of do that. So we messed around with that idea a little bit, and then we were messing around with the idea of like, okay, let's just put out a record, let's put out a band, let's call it something, and then it was like COVID hit.
Well, no, it was before. No, it was before COVID. It was like Last Turn Off Broadway was in the studio with him.
Okay.
With you.
Yeah. That's right.
I was changing my job. It was like just crazy for me. So it was like, okay, well, my focus is on this. You had a bunch of stuff happening with Craving, so like it just things we kind of drifted apart
was
for a
around the
minute.
time that I did the movie,
Right,
and all that was
Right.
going on too. So it was
So, like,
a bunch of things kind of
life just kind of happened, and then COVID hit, and we were like, we got to do something with these songs. And then instead of doing anything with those songs, we wrote a different song,
Right.
or a different like 2 or 3 songs, and then a podcast.
Right. The podcast came out of us trying to get back together to do these songs, to do what we're doing right now. This was the genesis of the podcast.
Right.
Interesting. See,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. We got together specifically to be like, we got to start tracking these songs and do something with these because there's something there. You know, we didn't look at them like these are done, but we looked at them like these are good. We need to do something with them. There's something here that's good. And then we spent an hour bullshitting and having a couple drinks first.
Oh, that always sets things in the wrong direction, doesn't
And
it?
then that turned into like, and it was during COVID, so it was around the time that, you know, like the band was talking about getting back in a room together, and we had talked, and we were like, okay, we want to do this. We're gonna really throw our trust into this with each other and just operate as like one body.
We're a little pod.
Right, and then so we did that just so that we could like get together, and so getting together, it was like doing the music. There was drive there for it, but like just the bliss of getting to be in a room with a human, and like chat was really kind of like the thing, and we were just doing that, and we would end up talking for hours, and then people were saying like, oh, I wish I could be a fly on the wall for that. I wish I could be that. And we were like, let's do it. And that's how the podcast became a thing.
Yeah.
See, like just like that, it's like all of a sudden it's like drinks are being poured and you're asking people if cereal's a snack.
Right.
Right. It's a soup. It's a soup, by the way.
Soup.
That's right.
No, I'm the
also
one snack on my end.
okay.
Right.
The other thing is too, like pretty much all of these demos that you have, they're literally either the first time we ever played the parts, and for the vocals,
wrote the
it's
lyrics
literally
and sang it right there.
singing, and so we haven't gone back and rehashed a lot of this stuff. Like there's parts that were like overlays that were done after the fact, after we're sitting on it, and we're like, oh, let's go back and do that. But overall, all of this was like the day we wrote it.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool because like you get like that first impression thing going on from it then, which is really neat, you know?
Right. Like
Which
almost
leads
all of
me
these
to-
are a Polaroid.
Right. So which leads me to the next thing you just said. You're like writing lyrics together. Like
Yeah.
that's got to be different. Like, you know, because you know me, both of you know Jimmy, maybe even more so you. We've had these conversations about how the storyteller is so important. Like getting that message across the soul of the song, so the listener gets where you're coming from. Talk to me about how different that's been, kind of, because Jimmy, this is different for you. Like when I hear this, I feel like this is closer to Mike's musical wheelhouse. This stuff,
Right.
where for you, it's like a darker trip for you, and as far as I'm concerned, when I hear it,
Yeah, it was definitely a different thing for me. It was super cool because I got to I got to play and come up with heavy guitars, which I typically don't do as much.
right?
If I do, I'm skewing them more in like the punk realm and the, you know, keeping a pop sensibility and things like that. And it was just really fun to like know when I was doing it that I had somebody that was into and could write to and could sing to the vibe that we were kind of creating with it. And I had just never done anything like that before. And even when he was like, write some lyrics, I was like, at first I was like, no, you write lyrics. This is you sing. So it was cool to be able to do that. But then writing and storytelling was a whole different experience for me, which was really cool.
Right.
Like you had some experience with that because Last Turn on Broadway was a 2-singer band.
Well, it was like a couple of the first songs we did together. Artie and I did discuss and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and then it did get to a point where it was like work on your own because we were rehearsing once a week,
Right.
and like we'd shoot notes back and forth every once in a while, but like it wasn't like we'd be like, okay, this is what I want this to be about.
Yeah.
And we just kind of do it, and it would usually work, and there were instances that it did not work, but people liked the song anyway. But so like, so I what I wanted to do is like really, especially because Jim is such a prolific writer, he's like, I look up to him. It's like, well, I want to like write with you. Let's write this story together. So that's kind of where I came in with that. Like, nope, let's write lyrics together. Like, do it.
He really pushed me into it, which was cool.
So that being said, like, how does the vantage point work exactly when you're collaborating like that? Like, I've co-written a lot of like poppier stuff with people.
Yeah.
So like, we always talk about what angle is this coming from exactly. So everybody knows who's involved in the writing process knows what that vantage point is, kind of, So how were you negotiating that exactly? Did you talk about it, or like a
little? Like we didn't come in with stories. It wasn't like this is what it's about. It was more like
I feel this.
Right, I feel this, or here's the lyrics I wrote. And then
that makes a lot of sense to me after hearing it, because when I hear it, I feel like it's more random musings rather than storytelling, like which isn't necessarily a bad thing, It's like, but like I hear the words, it's like, but you're painting pictures with imagery more than it is a specific story. Is that am I right in kind of sensing that too?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, like
it's capturing feelings, really.
Yeah,
that's the snapshot of how I feel this day. What's bothering me?
And I think
day.
there was always an idea of like, all right, if there's a lyric or there's something that locks us onto something, we can always go back and change and alter lyrics and parts that came before to kind of fit that kind of motif of what was going on. But I was writing more from a feeling thing. We were both dealing with a lot of like frustration and mostly that. It's probably a lot of frustration, some depression at the time too, that we had talked about, and we were kind of like we were in similar headspaces. Not about exactly the same things, and it wasn't exactly the same, but it was like that similar feel and headspace, and the music actually kind of like dictated how far we were going to go with it too. It felt like. And then I'm sure there were some things that are in there because they sounded cool. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely that in there too, I'm sure. So
I mean, hell, we were all into '90s music, right? That's the whole trip back then.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I still don't understand. I still don't know what Stone Temple Pilots with Scott Weiland. I still don't know what he's talking about. Exactly.
Right.
But it sounds cool, Like it's. Then that's what I mean. I think it's what it comes off as imagery to me, rather than necessarily like a specific storyline. It's like dark imagery, Which that's neat, That's cool, and like
it's cool and different for me. I know, like I don't know how you kind of felt about it. I thought it was cool to be able to kind of like throw melody ideas at you that I didn't think you would immediately think of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was going to throw something at you where I was like, what if we do it this way?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh. And then it was like you throw something. So it became also another thing where we were kind of like pushing each other to do things
I was going to say that
were out of our
out of the wheelhouse, because like I always bust his chops about screaming, and he busts my chops about singing higher, and it was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to do this part. You're going to do this part.
Right.
And that was another thing for us. It helped us push each other to do things that we don't normally do.
And I didn't want it to sound anything like Craving Strange, and you didn't want it to sound anything like Last Turn on Broadway.
Right.
And so we were trying to find, like, okay, what would we do? in those terms, knowing where we're both kind of coming from and where our strengths are, but not, but probably
not getting our shit in the whole time.
Probably aiming to go outside of that. At least for me, definitely, I was aiming to do something that normally, like you said, it was out of my wheelhouse, which is what I was glad, like I was excited to do.
That's right. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like not like I said, it's closer to Mike's wheelhouse, but at the same time, it's a little different too, because Last Turn Off Broadway definitely had a bit of there was a poppiness to it actually too, even though it was heavy as hell. There was still some really strong song structures and melody and harmony and stuff and all that kind of stuff. So even for Mike, I think this is a journey into something even a little bit darker too.
Yeah. It was one of those things where we also sat down and we kind of were like, okay, do we need to do the same song structure? Does it have to be that? Like, just that we're just playing around with stuff and again, some of this stuff, the guitars, we played the chorus once and the main riff once, copy pasted it and changed things like 40 times just to be like, oh, well, what if we didn't go into the second verse and did this, and like, let's try it, and that's literally what we did that night. Which is
also a thing that like I've never done.
Yeah,
that's never been a thing for me. It's always been like, sit down with an acoustic and go from beginning to end.
Right.
And
which is more what I think most of the time.
Yeah.
In that manner, But, that being said, and I noticed there are some quirky arrangement moments in there and stuff. And it's like, and here I am, the arrangement police has arrived. So,
yeah. Hey, you know what? Some of them might not work.
Yeah, right.
We were even hearing that when we were listening back to him again. It was like, does this need to be this way? I don't know if you heard the updated ones, because we did. There was
just one
song that we changed a couple things on.
I did. Maybe we should start with that one, because it's funny. I prefer elements of the earlier one.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I have it in a certain order. So
we're
going to start. It's like all on one video because we got to use StreamYard for this. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this on, and we're going to start with, I believe, The Surface is the first one we've got.
Interruption!
I was going to do the hold up. Hey. But that was better.
Nice.
There's no time like today to take care of your hygiene.
Indeed.
And one of those things that can help you, if you're a man or a woman even, Manscaped. Manscaped can help you with their lawnmower 4.0.
Yeah.
Their lawnmower 4.0 has skin-safe technology. It's a ceramic blade. It's waterproof. It's got a nice little LED light, so this way you can see underneath all those crevices.
Shave your privates in the shower in the dark. Don't actually do that.
Don't do that.
But you could.
Yeah, you could with Manscaped.
Because you have a light.
Indeed. And for guys, listen, the perfect package 4.0 is like where it's at for you guys. Because it comes with not only the lawnmower, not only the weed whacker for your ear and nose holes.
Well, we got one. So bring it up real quick. What you also get, so yes, for one, you get the lawnmower 4.0, which is ceramic blades. It's not going to cut you. It's got a guard so you can, make sure that you got a trim in some spots. You got to the skin in other spots. You make sure that beanbag's shiny. We also have some...
Package that beanbag in...
underwear.
The underwear.
Yeah.
It's got the little ball pouch.
It does have the ball pouch.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great.
Separate. It's technology.
This right here...
I like this.
Is for when you are shaving your balls.
Yeah.
It's little placemats, so this way...
it's like a newspaper.
Yeah. But then you just... You shave them, you crumple it up, you throw it away. No mess, no no fuss.
Yeah.
Right?
It's also got some. It's got some funny articles in it.
It does. It does when you read
I recommend you definitely read it, but not while you're shaving your nuts.
No. There's the ball deodorant.
Yes, I use it every day. Crop preserver.
And the crop reviver.
I don't use it every day, but I have used it plenty of times.
It is pretty fantastic. You need that midday spritz.
Yep.
Just go for it. Freshens you up right away.
Who doesn't love a little spritz on the beanbag?
Exactly. And where do I keep it all? Well, right here. The shed, baby.
You know what? The shed is a pouch for the things to clean your pouch.
Exactly.
Right?
I use it personally for my toiletries when I travel.
You do. I've seen it.
I've got multiple. I've got a few of them.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, go ahead, manscaped.com. Use the promo code BACONPOD.
You get 20% off this entire order plus free shipping. Not only can you get the Perfect Package 4.0, but you can sign up for their program where they will send you new stuff automatically.
New blades.
Every month, every 2 months, every 3 months. You decide what you need. If you need new blades every 3 months, they'll send you new blades every 3 months. If you want to check out maybe the crop mops.
I can't talk about the crop mops enough.
They're my favorite thing.
Yes.
Get those every month.
When you come and you hang out with us and we see you and stuff like that, we always have crop mops on our person. So
yeah, it's
make
like
sure
a
you
business
ask
card,
us.
but for Manscaped and not us.
Yes. So go ahead,
Yeah.
manscaped.com, promo code BACONPOD, 20% off, free shipping. Call it a day. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Just a heartbeat that's racing alone. Now that I've made this, I'm locked in a moment. I hate that I can't take away all the mistakes pushed to the surface. I'll wait. Come take this all from me. You always say what's best for me. I can't believe that your conscience is blind. I'm locked in a moment. I hate that I can't take away all the mistakes pushed to the surface. I'll wait. Come take this all from me. I'm locked in a moment. I hate that I can't take away all the mistakes pushed to the surface. I'll made this locked in a moment. I hate that I can't take away all the mistakes pushed to the surface. Come take this all from me.
It's funny because for the first stream, I had redone the drums in Steven Slate.
Right.
So that hi-hat annoys the shit out of me. And I'm like, the whole time I'm listening to it now, I'm like, fuck, I didn't bounce those other ones. I hate this. I hate this so much. So, but yeah.
It's the first thing I would say about it's short, very short.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 2 and change short, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think and what I wrote down about it was, the first thing was, I feel it needs a bridge, honestly. I feel like it needs another idea in there.
Okay.
You know? I don't know what you guys think about that, but I feel like parts are strong. I like the chorus, it's strong. Verses are strong too, but it's like it's literally just, I mean, I know you have a moment there in the middle where you kind of go into that little instrumental motif, that that thing.
Yeah.
And that would be a cool start to a bridge. And then from there, you would launch into another idea, maybe, you know, like something, it doesn't even have to be long or anything. It could be something, you know, just that kind of connects everything together a little bit. Like,
Okay.
that's why we call them bridges, right?
Right.
You know, it feels like that was the one that was crying out for like another part for me. You know, like I don't know exactly what it is yet, but like I don't feel it doesn't have to be monumental, is what it is, but it could just be a little something extra there in the middle. You know.
Okay. Cool. So just take off in just a different direction for a bit.
A bit, yeah. It doesn't have to be long. And I would kind of come back on like with that chorus, the day now thing. I would come back in and maybe off a bridge or something, a brief bridge, and then you come into that, like do the broke down chorus thing. You know,
right.
Make it quiet for a second, do it an octave down or something, and then all of a sudden, bang, we're back. You know, like Big Phil back in. You know, and then proceed from there. You know, and another thing I found intriguing. Those hooks at the end on guitar toward the end of the song are fucking great.
Sweet.
Like
that's
thing, you know, like that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things too.
Okay, so that being said, that you like it that much, what would happen if we did some of that towards the beginning of the song? Like, what if you stuck that on the front end of the song too? Because you're kind of in that motif, like like in the beginning a little bit. What if like that snuck its way in before you did the verse somehow, like a zone, like, you know, and then you're into the verse, like, you know, I don't know how that exactly gets interweaved, you know, but like,
yeah, maybe not the whole thing, but part like a nod to it,
right?
Leading into a vocal.
I'd love to hear that again and like almost bookend the song with it now.
Okay.
You know, how cool. You go about that, I'm not sure. This is the kind of thing that if I was in the room and we had a full band going, we would try, you know, I'd be like, what if we try this kind of thing? And by the way, let me just do a quick sidebar and say, like, I don't know how you guys were planning on exactly recording it and doing it, but I think for these songs to be the best they can be and the most they can be, you need a band.
Oh yeah.
We were saying that too.
We're gonna like, do that. For sure.
You need to have a drummer and bassist in there with you, and you need to rehearse these songs and bring them to life for real. Because the aggression, the darkness, the whole energy it's putting off has to be banned. You know, it's like, I know we've all toyed around the programming drums thing is amazing. The Steven Slate stuff's amazing. You know, Superior Drummer. They have some great options out there. If you dial it in just right, nobody's the wiser. But that energy thing isn't there because of that, you know, that you need humans, you know, and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that's the intention, but I hope so.
Yeah. We had talked about that too, and we were talking about like we were batting around like who can we get to do stuff and reaching out to even people that we've interviewed on the show and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's definitely a thing where we're like,
we need real drums.
We need real drums on this.
And that connection of performing too, like so, like even like when you're with the drummer, like rehearse it a bit, like, you know, make sure it's not just have them in and cut the session kind of thing. Right. You got to come in and rehearse it and like kind of build it up into a monster first and have that ferocious energy, you know. At least from my perspective, that's what will sell this thing. You know?
Yeah.
That life, and so like something in the like. And that's what I got written down for that. Like it's short. And another thing to put some length on it too, another option, not just the bridge thing, another option too to get some length out of it is, do you have to go to the chorus where you're going into that? Couldn't you loop around with another verse first before you even hit the chorus? You know, like I felt like the chorus came in very quickly, which that's not a problem in any world basically. But I feel like you're setting a tone there in the verse. It's cool. I mean, is there any way to hear it back real quick a little bit? Can we dive back in for a second? Can you just play it from the beginning? Yeah.
Yep.
Racing along.
No, I mean it comes in pretty quick. It's like I feel like you're settling into the thing with the two vocals, like the trade-offs and everything. That like, could that be like another verse before you hit that turnaround in the chorus? Maybe like kind of, settle us into that vibe a little bit more of the two of you going back and forth for a bit there. You know, I mean, it's just a thought. It's not a necessity or anything, but I'm just trying to figure out ways to like kind of tack on a little mileage to this thing because it is short.
Right.
And it feels like it needs to be fleshed out a little bit more.
You think starting it with the chorus would be a thing that might be interesting?
Could be.
I think. Well, we were talking about doing the hooky riff.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
But now that we said that, now that we've talked about that, when you play it back, you hear it right away now, right? Though that guitar line can be there right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And, maybe not the drums aren't doing the that thing.
Yeah.
Playing through with the sound on that vibe, and then right into the verse from there,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess the chorus could be a thing, like you could start it with that, but it's a possibility.
The chorus instrumentally is being played.
Yeah, that's
right. It is. So that's why, I don't necessarily think you'd have to start with the chorus, but like that guitar thing, I really would love to hear that again up the top,
Yeah.
Because it's a hook in its own right, and it's like it makes its first appearance right at the very end of the song, and I'm like, where are you? You got to be in earlier.
It was a very last minute idea.
Right, but see, and that's the thing. It's like you can never as we're in this process of the doors wide open right now. Well, you got a good idea there. Maybe we should try another spots, especially the fun. Yeah. But that's the long short of it for me. Haha, no pun, being short song. But it's really like get that intro a little bit hookier and cooler with the guitar thing. Maybe a bit of bridge. If it winds up being longer, so be it. But it could be short. It doesn't have to be. Like, I'm going to let you guys kind of explore that a little and see what feels right,
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, all these tunes are great, by the way. They're really cool little things, but they're sketches right now. And I can't wait to hear it played by a band and fully fleshed out.
How do you feel about the tempo of that song?
I feel pretty good about it, actually. Like, that didn't even occur to me. Honestly, like, do you feel okay about it?
I wasn't sure. It's one of the things I wrote down when I was when we listened to it last time, and I wrote it down on a couple songs because the things that I was just kind of like, okay, our tempo's good. Do we need both vocals? Do we need, does this bridge work in this song? Did we, like all those are the obvious things that I'm like immediately going to listen for before we even listen to it.
Sure.
So I just had that written down.
I honestly, I didn't even go there yet. I was thinking more in the bigger sense of how the arrangement's hitting me.
Yeah.
But hearing it now, like I feel like it's pretty close, the tempo, if any.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't change the tempo.
It grooves in a cool way.
Right.
It swings.
Well, that's that like we talked about it on the last one is that like for this we really want to capture like almost like a waltzy, creepier vibe.
Yeah. And that's happening right now. That's why I'm not concerned about the tempo, because I think wherever you're at now, it's at a good place where it swings correctly, actually.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Excellent stuff, though. That's really like, I actually started with that one today when I listened, because I listened to it when you sent them to me, too.
Yeah.
Now, like today, I really kind of refreshed myself on them big time. And I started with that when I went the back up almost, kind of, And I was like, oh, wow. Because I had listened to this one the least out of all of them, I think, going into today. So, I mean, that's where I'm at with it. It's like, we can, along the way, we can talk about the tempos along the way, but I think it's a good starting point for sure. The real test will be like when you have a drummer in the room to see how he's responding to it,
Right.
Yeah. If he's cooking with that pocket, Because with Steven Slate drums, it's cooking,
That's right. The next one we did is Razor.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I can't get enough of it. They don't add up one bit. It all seems normal in a haze. The more I push, the more you Oh, way too small. It's never out of my mind. I'll breathe you in and hollow. You leave me in again. Took all the pieces just to burn and left a ghost behind of everything I've said. I can't grieve 'cause you won't die. You cut deep 'cause you can't stop leaving behind a razor. I believe that I'll be fine. You cut me 'cause I won't stop reaching to find your razor. You won't die. These scars you left behind with your razor, your razor. I'll be fine. Scars you left behind with your razor, and I won't die. I can't breathe 'cause you won't die. You cut deep 'cause you can't stop leaving behind a razor. I believe that I'll be fine. You cut me 'cause I won't stop reaching to find your razor. I can't breathe 'cause you won't die. You cut deep 'cause you can't stop leaving behind a razor. I believe that I'll be fine. You cut me 'cause I won't stop reaching to find your razor.
Yeah, buddy.
This motherfucker.
I think, I think like it was funny. This one, I've had a fun journey with this one. At first, I wasn't sure about it at first, but now it's like I think my favorite one actually.
Oh, nice.
The more I listen to it,
It's a grower. It's a grower, not a shower.
Maybe. I think I was thinking that like something was like irking me like early on when I was listening to it. I'm going, my first impression was the chorus wasn't a chorus at first. Actually, I was like, is this a pre-chorus? Like kind of like I felt like, is it a building thing, a building block? But actually, the more I listened to it, the more I'm going, yeah, it is a chorus. But the thing that was irking me, I discovered, was you're going to need, for at least the first verse, and if not the second verse too, like you're going to need a monster drum fill of sorts to usher that thing in. It's the transition of it is just very blah right now, from verse to chorus. That's why I wasn't feeling like it was a chorus, I think, because it wasn't really announcing itself properly.
Yeah, right.
In a lot of ways. It was like, I'm hearing it, oh, what is this? Is that a chorus? I'm like, so I like in my mind, I have it like this way. The first verse going in would be a monster drum fill, like you're coming to down, and then you're into that chorus or something of that nature. Big drum fill, and then the second time around it's a stop. And I think Mike, you're singing there, and like that line will be just Mike singing there right before it comes back in, kind of thing. Like pull everything out. I don't know. Can you jump to that spot real quick? I think it's Mike just singing right there, and I would want to pull everything before that chorus. Second chorus.
Let's see.
Take a guess.
The more I push, the more you pull from me.
The more you pull from me should be on your own. Like kind of like everybody bangs.
Oh, that's the first chorus. The
The
second chorus.
Everything I
hear that. I definitely hear that.
Like that big, Jimmy, we've done this before. The stop thing where like, and it's everything I say, bang, like coming in. I just want them to have maximum impact when they arrive, those courses, because it is really good. Actually, it's not announcing itself correctly yet. That's really what it's down to. You know, that was the big thing for me, and I figured that out like last night when I was listening to it. Actually, I was like, damn it, this is the one you think the chorus isn't right. And I'm like, it's not right, because I'm finding myself humming it and I'm going, oh, it's catchy actually. So what's bothering me about this fucking thing? And it's the entrance. You know, it's absolutely that. Because that's gonna blow people's heads off when that's done correctly, you know?
Right.
In that, like, and I think like the first time it's more of a monster drum fill kind of thing, and the second time it's that stop thing where like you pull it all and then bang we're back, you know?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I could see that.
Cool.
My things on that were are the dual vocals important in this song?
I actually do think they're very important in this one.
Okay.
Like I have thoughts about it in
are
other
we approaching them correctly?
I'm going to say yes, and I'll give you the reason why. I was just about to say this. Mike, I love that you're singing more on this one. Like it's
dude.
gritty and gutty. But I want you to use the scream thing correctly. Like not correctly, that's the wrong terminology.
No. Tastefully.
Efficiently, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you're the best at that as far as I'm concerned. Like that's one of your strong points. But I feel like sometimes you might lean on it too much. You know? Where I feel like you do have a voice and I like hearing it as far as singing.
Oh, dude, all his overdub stuff at the end of that song blows my fucking mind.
Great shit. And I love that it's like aggressive, but still singing, you know? And it doesn't have to be like that thing, you know? Like kind of where that'll work sometimes for certain.
Right.
Definitely, you know? But here I like the fact that like you've committed to this back and forth with vocals, like real singing from Mike, you know, as opposed to just screaming, you know?
Cool. And then the other thing I had written down was is the bridge what the bridge needs to be, or does it take away from the groove of the song because it's quite choppy?
Yeah.
I like the part. I think it's really cool, but that's the other part where, again,
does it stop the momentum?
I'm not saying I feel like it's wrong. I'm just saying like there's a spot where I'm like, huh.
Can we hear that back? The bridge?
Yeah.
I like it. I really do. I think it's a great third part for the song, you know?
Okay.
I don't have maybe like how you get into it, we can negotiate a little bit because of the build up. It draws back there. Maybe we're losing a little energy there, perhaps, you know? Maybe it would benefit more from big monster fill where you keep the energy up instead of pulling back. And like another thing, this would be a thing once a drummer's in the room, I think you'll know, you know, like kind of thing. Right. Where right now it might be drawing the energy back a little bit, but that's the only thing that I think about it. I think the actual part is great, though.
Cool. Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
So, but that's my only thought about maybe that being an issue. Maybe like it's more of a, like instead of a, maybe it's more like, you know, like big fucking gnarly drum.
Yeah.
You know, that's something to try once we have the drummer thing sorted away, you know? But I do have one other thought on actually a couple of thoughts. Same thing with the last chorus. That's another spot where we could try the broke down chorus thing, you know, because you're coming off the big bridge. This one has the big bridge already, though, instead of like having to conjure up one for the other two. But not necessarily like one of them will work. Maybe both of them work. I don't know. But I would be interested in exploring the more broke down version of the chorus at first. Like, is that you can't live behind, you know, and then it's back.
But
you know?
not a whole one. Like
no. Make it quick. It doesn't have to be long. Whatever feels right, you know.
Go to like just a bass just a bass riding, and just can't breathe because you won't die.
Bang.
Won't stop
You're in
because you
again.
won't stop leaving behind. Boom, your razor.
You
And
can
then
even do
come
it
in.
half of that if you really want to.
Yeah, or even less. Yeah.
There's a lot of options there, but I feel like that dynamic move is always a winner to some degree. It depends, like you change it up from song to song by like what you just said, make it bass instead of like light guitar or like, you know, a weird sound or something. It could be bass. Like we don't do that often. So that can be fun, you know? Oh, but I had the one other thought I had is, I don't know if I'm like sold on it just starting like that, like, you know, just bang, everybody's in. But your chord progression there is a monster, though. That bow now, that whole thing. What if we start with that? You know, like that's like, you know.
That song actually started, I think the original version of this started with the chorus.
I think it did, and then we cut the chorus off.
And then we cut the chorus off and started it.
That's why it starts like that. Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, and that makes sense given how you're doing the arrangement moves.
Right.
Like that, of course.
Yeah,
but
it was probably like, let's start with the verse, and then it was just right in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see that as something to try, too.
Bow now, bow now, bow now, bow now, bow now, bow now, boom. Like, you know, like a couple of times around, bow now, and then a big fill and in, but like, and then you're in with all of it. You know, kind of, it's a great
You could do like
progression.
a droning high note, you know, like
Yeah.
and just while there's a drone happening, and then cut everything out for that beginning. Could also be a cool kind of way to,
But I do think it
or
needs
leave
a
it really
intro.
dry and open.
It does need some sort of intro, though, I think, based off of what exists already. Nothing new, you know?
Yeah.
Just like utilizing all the hooks, and that's where I feel like I'm going to be saying more of with the other three songs coming up, is like utilizing stuff that's within there already a little bit more, deploying it in more efficient ways where you get more mileage out of some of these parts, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, because you have great ideas here, you know?
Cool.
No, you might have too many in some instances. Not
Possible.
Is that possible?
That's why I keep bringing up the bridge thing. I'm like, is this a different song? Is this a...
No, seems good.
But yeah.
All right. So next is how do we move on?
move on?
While this plays, I'm going to pee.
All right, you do it.
Right.
Just wanted to let you know.
Quick reminder that this show is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Mythical Beards. Check them out, mythicalbeards.com. You can get stickers, you can get hoodies, you can get all that kind of stuff, but most importantly, you can get shit for your face.
Keep your beard fresh, keep it clean, keep it groomed. If it's good enough for Mick Foley, God damn it, it's good enough for us.
I'm wearing the Kraken right now.
I am actually wearing the Dracula.
Nice.
And that's why I smell like an old-time barbershop.
If you go to mythicalbeards.com and use the promo code
Bacon15,
you get 15% off your entire order. The show is also brought to you by our good friends at GrillYourAssOff.com, where you can also get 15% off of your order of all spices, grilling rubs.
they're delicious freaking sauces.
Yes, delicious sauces, all that kind of stuff. Every season is grilling season if you like to cook.
Yes.
So definitely check it out. GrillYourAssOff.com. Use the promo code
Bacon, because it'll keep your grilling season all year fucking long.
15% off with the promo code. 10% off at drinkwildbills.com, where you can get all kinds of great sodas, which we've seen lots of mixers for. So keep sending them in. Hashtag drinkwildbills. Hashtag what's your bacon. Send us your beverage options.
Of choice.
And also poddex.com. You can see them in another part of the show.
Yes, indeed.
But both of those, 10% off, use the promo code BACON. So
Yes.
check it out. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you got. Use them. Find them. If you can't remember what we just said, go to baconismypodcast.com. Everything's there. Check it out. Thanks for watching.
I continue to chase this impossible dream. I knew that one day I'd face it. There's a realization, an unbearable pain, my humiliation, disappointment inside.
Know that it pains me to say this. There's nothing that's left inside. And everything that we built is burning. It's burning down. Burning down.
How can we go knowing what we could have been? How do we move on? Knowing what it should have been, what should have been. And we're having a go. What could have been? Where did we go wrong? What should have been? I wish I could change this. Loss of desire. There is no motivation, no stars in eyes. The risks that we've taken, the damage we've made. To rescue is futile, and we know who's to blame.
So now in ruins I leave this. From all of this hurt and the rise. And everything that we built is burning, burning down.
How can we go knowing what we could have been? What how do we move on? Knowing what it should have been, what should have been. And we're having a go. What could have been? Where did we go wrong? Should have been, what should have been. How could we go wrong? Knowing what we could have been, what could have been. Knowing what it should have been, what should have been. We're having a go. What could have been. And where did we go wrong? What should have been. How do we move on?
Heard those ice cubes clinking. Another drink? Yes, indeed. Right? What do you guys? Before we start, like, what do you guys think of that one? I want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, it was
I wrote down like bigger dynamics. I wrote down melodies. My part, I think I need to work to get a little bit better, more
Chorus.
distinct melodies
Chorus.
on both the chorus and the verse.
Right.
And I love the vibe, and I wrote like figure out a way to build more tension, like even more tension with the song.
Mike, what do you think?
it was one of those songs. I don't know. I think we were kind of hesitant to, because we had like, we were picking from like 9 songs.
Yeah.
And it was either this or something else. And we went with this because just even like taking a step back from it and then coming back to it, it just has this like weird feel that like it's a little bit haunting.
Yeah.
If we get it right, the dynamics have to be there as
I
well.
like the creepiness.
Like the creepiness. It's different than what we usually do. Like normally it's like, okay, go, and this is more like pulled back and like you want to, but it's like no, it's holding you back.
Yeah.
And then the bridge the bridge, I love that thing that he does, just like the like I love that part, and then the last chorus I think is we could definitely build on that, make it bigger.
Okay, so it's like I feel like it starts off really strong, like that sludgy vibe of the verse, like and the second head, like that riff is big, you know, like that's a great Sabbathy, Soundgarden-y kind of like sludge factory, basically, which is fucking cool, you know. So I love where it started. I actually like the verse. Jim, I think you're going in a pretty good direction with it as far as the haunting thing goes and everything. And then, Mike, I love what you do. That's a part where the screaming really works, I think, really well. It's very effective for those two colors in the verse. You know,
I feel like this song captures the dual vocal vibe in a way that is like really necessary for the, I guess, the target that this song is pointed at. You know what I mean? Like as far as like the writing of it.
So let me make a comment about the bridge first. The bridge, I love the riff. Like I love what's actually being played guitar-wise. The drums are too chaotic.
Yeah. I do think so. Like I want to say that we fixed those. I want to say that we actually did fix those. But like a lot of these drums were actually like placeholders for a while.
That's what I kind of like. That's what I.
But yeah, I do agree, and I think.
But even the mindset of making the drums less there makes sense.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna open up the session real quick and make sure, because I do think that we switched those out.
No, just as long as you're aware, like, and that's another thing. Once you have the drummer in the room, you'll try and find that pocket kind of thing.
Right,
you know, find out, because the riff is great. Just serve that riff as best possible. It's like kind of trying to like actually play along with it right now, and it's a little like whoa, you know, like kind of it's a little much, you know. Where like a simplified version of it would be cool, you know. Not so many kicks, you know.
Yeah, I'm listening back to it.
Yeah.
We dumbed it down a lot.
We did dumb it down a lot.
We dumbed it down a lot.
Maybe even more though. Try like a really open fuck shit.
Just like
right. Maybe like
Yeah, just less of those kicks. You don't need the kicks going bump it up, like, you know, like it's like the kicks are almost mirroring what's going on with the right hand with the guitar, kind of.
Right.
You know? Which is just not necessary, basically. Like let the guitar do the heavy lifting. You know, like that was the big thing to me. And I'm going to say this: what the other part for me is like, I love that verse and I love like the bridge and everything, but I don't think the chorus is right yet. It's like there's something about it that's just off-putting to me right now, and it's like I think particularly the transition into it. Like once you get in there, I'm like, okay, I get it, you know. But that transition to it is like not climactic, you know. Like there could be a stop once again here with the stop shit, but like it's like, but it seems like it might want to do like when it comes into that little like that dissonant riff, that den thing when that creeps up, like den, like I almost feel like I want to hear it pull. And Jim, you're on there with the "How can we move on?" and back in like kind of, and it's in on the on, you know, kind of thing. Like how can we move on, bat kind of thing. You know, we got to experiment with that a little bit to see how effective we can make. Because once again, it's a thing about the chorus announcing itself again. It's not really like, oh, we're in the chorus now, kind of thing. You know?
Do you think the melody for the chorus is strong enough for what it is?
I feel like we could go fishing, that there might be better options and stuff, like, you know, just like right now. I feel like from the first version to the second version, was there a difference from the first version you sent me to the second version of this, or was it the same?
I don't think we changed.
No, this wasn't the one we dumbed down the drums a bit. I don't know if we changed anything else here.
Like I feel like it gets like maybe the vocal interplay between the two of you gets a little chaotic there. Like maybe we could make that a little bit smoother, you know?
See, I have a little bit of an idea change for the melody instead of like, how do we go on? I feel like that's almost too busy. And I also
Yeah,
think
I don't think we changed it.
and I also think that even the knowing what we could have been, I don't think you need to repeat the could have been. And if I
Right.
stay up, how do we go on knowing what we could have been? How do we move on? Simplifying it a little bit.
I like that, and that's what
might-
I'm talking about. It's like it was like coming off to me as
It's-
too much. Like it was too like it was like too like too
It was-
swoopy and like
Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of that was my like LTOB influence, where it was like, okay, well, he's gonna hold that note out. I'm gonna kind of come in too, and we were both trying to kind of let's interweave this, but the interweaving wasn't working when they were on top of each other.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
and that's what I think I have an issue with. Is like they don't seem to be playing nice with each other right now. The interwaving, maybe by you adjusting the melody a little bit, and maybe the first chorus is you just introduce it. Maybe Jim, it's just you with the melody and presenting that first, and then Michael come in on the second chorus and kind of start weaving in there or something. You know,
That's it. That's an idea too. Yeah.
yeah, just to kind of like have a dynamic to it, kind of like to bring different elements to the next chorus and then the third
Yeah.
chorus and stuff. Yeah, I think it needs
I
to
could see that,
simplify
too.
a little bit because I don't feel like it's not smoothly going in there. So maybe by simplifying the melody and maybe Mike sitting that one out a little
Yeah.
bit, we can establish the idea before we throw too much at your listeners.
Yeah, no, I like that.
And it's like you know what I'm saying though, like in the bill, like I feel like the how do we move on is a big profound moment, kind of the line, right? And
Yeah.
like I'd love to just have you featured there for a second, like that little guitar thing that how can we move on, and then it all kind of comes in with support, And it might be like that for every chorus, where like, or maybe the second chorus is some sort of transition. But right now, I'm like having a hard time figuring out where
Everybody
it actually
coming in on could have been. How do we move on knowing what we could have and coming in there on
I think
one of
maybe
them somewhere.
I think what Dave is saying is almost like let me see if I can pull it up. Actually, the transition from the bridge, the transition from the bridge to
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
to the last chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to
should
that.
should happen, and then maybe that part, where you're talking about, where you hold out that broken chorus that we're talking about, maybe do that part coming out of the bridge.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No, go ahead.
From all of this art in the rock.
How could we go on knowing what we could?
So doing something more along the lines of that in the bridge, in the
first
verses.
chorus, yeah.
Right. I
Into
like
the first
I
chorus.
would say like where the part where it would like the band would disappear would be right on the how do we move on.
Okay. Yeah.
And then maybe everybody's back on actually. Make it real
Yeah.
quick. It doesn't have to be like this big monumental stop, but just
Yeah.
like some kind of way. And honestly, I don't even know if if is that the answer or not, but I just want to kind of plant the seed in both your brains.
Yeah.
Of how do
Just
we
to
get
try
this
some
more
things there.
efficient? We need to try some things on how we get, because like I said, I keep getting this feeling that like, oh shit, we're in the chorus all of a sudden. I
Right,
didn't
right.
even know we were there, Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like, I think it needs to be a little bit more profound because I really love the other elements of the song, So like,
Yeah.
if you could figure this out, wow, it could be really majestic, And I don't think it's quite there yet. It's like I'm not really sure if it's the whole part or it's just a very simple little adjustment or not. It's like it could be.
Right.
I love the word majestic.
Me
by
too.
the way.
I also love that word.
I love that word.
Sometimes I say silly things. I don't know, but
No, that's
I don't
not
think it's
silly
silly at all.
No, I like the word, Dave.
Yeah.
I love the word.
But Jim, I think your concerns were like, are earlier, like I'm kind of echoing that a little bit, where it's not dynamically, it's not really there yet, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways. You know, it's like it starts off on this great sludgy trip, but it never like lifts for real in the chorus. It never like it kind of still feels it's like it's in chains or something. It never busts out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that's a beat change or
I was kind of thinking like instead of maybe kind of do like more of a and then halftime it.
Right. Like what is it doing now exactly in the chorus?
Oh no, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing that I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, and I think that's what the thing is. It's not so much. It's like it's how you're getting in there. It's like it's in the middle of a tom roll when it kind of starts. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I think is getting a little bit lost for me. Is that transition point is a little murky right now.
Yeah.
You know.
So
That's
so
the
more
thing.
pronounced transitions.
Yeah, more pronounced transition into that chorus, and I think that'll lift it right away, kind of, if we do. And like really, and like when that start of that chorus happened, and get into that beat right away, the like make sure it's like I feel it's like lagging behind, like you're in that middle of that tom thing, and then it appears right after it. So whenever like the how can we move, like so if there's a bit of a pause there or
Make
something,
it super tribal.
Yeah.
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 It's a transition thing more than anything.
Yeah, I think.
You know?
Yeah, I think, and again, you know, placeholder drums will do that. But like, I think I started. I don't think I started on the snare, which is what kind of also makes it not feel like there was that transition, where it's the beat is starting that way.
Right.
I don't think I started on the snare, which is kind of where you got to start with that particular thing.
That's definitely a primary homework assignment for you guys, as far as I'm concerned, is getting that like a little bit more fluid sounding and like something that makes you go, oh wow, the chorus is here. You know?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Challenge
about
accepted.
it. The other parts are so fucking good, though. You know.
Cool.
All right.
What's next?
Love the Way You Suffer.
Love the Way You Suffer.
Which is that was the one that we changed. So we had an original, and then we cut back some of it,
and then flip the drums in the chorus.
Flip the drums in the chorus
to go halftime later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right.
So
but overall, I think this is like the most complete song of the bunch, though. In a lot.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
I think like when I hear it, I feel like it's the thing that's like closest to like its end game in a lot of ways. You know.
I just love the groove to it. I love like a droning note. Like, and it's not even like a single note. It's a lot of like that like hammer on pull off one note thing. I love the groove to it. I love that.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm not the same under this face, another mask I made to keep myself from looking in the mirror. Could have changed, but it's too late. So if we pull the shades and stop the pain, it's only getting dearer.
So open your eyes when you say
It's like a downpour, the way your hate tore through all my faith because I love you so much. We only want more. It's what we came for. So hold me down because I love the way you suffer.
when I am held in chains, it hurt me just pain. But you and realize what you've taken away from me.
The way you lie, it takes the sting away like playing games. The ways you hide your ways, so I can't see the ties you break.
So open your eyes when you say
It's like the
love the way you suffer.
It's like a downpour, the way your hands are through all my face, because I love the way you suffer. We only want more, it's what we came for. So hold me down because I love the way you suffer.
The conversation's over. It's over now.
I love that the bridge comes back there at the end. That's
Cool.
dynamite. It's a great way to end it.
Cool.
Sweet.
Okay. There's a couple of things, but like it's funny. I was more of a fan of the first version chorus.
Really?
Of
So
the
so
drums? Okay.
so
Yeah, the
slow
other-
first half.
Okay, but like
Double
let's
second.
talk about that a little bit though. It's like I feel like that because like when I heard that come in with the like but because it was kind of like in a similar groovy spot where the pre-chorus tom thing is, you know, like it kind of is more of an extension of that. It really sounds like fucking epic at that place, you know. And then when it kicks in, to me, that shouldn't happen till the end of the song. That should be a last
Okay.
chorus maneuver only, as far as
So-
I'm concerned.
Do
So,
When it-
either
so
of you
keep the chorus halftime
halftime,
the
yeah,
till the end of the
whole
song.
way.
Except for that last chorus where you're going to need a way
Right.
to kick it up a notch, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
perfect foil. You know, that's what I think anyway. Like the second I heard it in the first version, I'm like, that's an end of song move. That was what I said. Because the whole thing up like that, now you have that being the dominant thing, the more, you know, the faster beat.
Yeah.
That doesn't. It loses its drama that way. That
Mhm.
rip, it loses this epicness. Like you feel like the world's caving in on you there when that chorus comes in with the you know, kind of thing. Where it's the halftime beat, it because of what the guitars are doing along with it, it's a good juxtaposition and it like builds into this monstrosity. With the fast beat, you kind of lose some of that aura, you know. It's great for the back end of the song when you want to kick it up and punch it through the roof.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do either of you feel like that chorus might be too long?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. Love the bridge. Bridge is fantastic. But here's an interesting point that we should talk about is the verses have radically different identities. Which I guess I'm sure you're aware of.
Yeah, no, by design, I think.
Yeah.
Right. That kind of rubs me a little weird.
Okay.
Where I feel like, can we inject some of the second verse energy into the first? Because here's the thought. Now, if we're going to say, hang with me here for a second.
Uh-huh.
The chorus, if it's going to be the sludgy chorus through the most of the song, like I'm talking about, it could benefit from having the up verse, second verse in the first verse too, like that starting
Yeah.
the song with more of a boom,
I think-
bop, 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 bop. You know what I'm saying? Like have that energy be the verse energy, kind of, you know? Like I love that guitar figure that's going on in the beginning though. This is why it's hurting me to say this a little bit because I love that dan like that. The way it starts is really kind of cool. Is there a way to start it still like that and then jump right into boom, bap, bap, bap thing? Like, you know, maybe still start it with that guitar intro kind of, and then jump into that once the singing starts, kind of.
There's definitely a way. There's definitely a way to do it and try it.
Yeah.
I do like though. I have to say, like, I do like how it feels like the song starts in one place and then builds to another place, and it's constantly building, adding more to it. Versus it being like this part, then this part again, then this part again, like a typical not typical,
Right.
but like a song structure,
Right.
right?
That's a decision you have to make. Is like, because my first like, now that I've heard him a bunch of times, I'm definitely liking it like as is in a lot of ways. But the first impression was I was lost when the second verse came in. I didn't know where I was in the song. Kind of, I was like, "What's this now?" You know, kind
Yeah.
of like, "Is this a different part?" Is this
I
like,
feel like
That was
I
my
feel
first-
like as a you know, like for me too, like just being you know, into songwriting things and stuff like that, like you always kind of go, okay, well your verse should be this and your verse should be this and whatever. It was nice to get. It's still that verse, but it's just a different tempo.
Yeah.
And that's something that I liked toying with, because I listen to bands that have, I mean, you like Every Time I Die, that don't even have a verse. They just have part.
Right.
So the fact that we were able to do something like that, but also keep it relatively cohesive, that's something that I was like super excited about. But
is there maybe a way
if it's better for the song,
well,
to
right,
keep
yeah,
it
that's,
cohesive,
that's the main thing.
that's
Is there? I wonder if there's a way to either, because the second verse doesn't have the verse guitar in it, correct? It's a different thing.
Right,
Go back to that second
no,
verse.
it's the same guitar parts.
Is it the same guitar
just
parts?
to a different beat, just to a faster tempo.
Play the second verse.
No, it's
real
actually
quick.
the same tempo. It's just a double time beat.
Double time.
Double time drums.
So the same thing.
No, it's not. It's going. It's really
But the accents are in the first.
right with the bass. The running guitar. Right? So I'm saying, is there a way to either bring the drum and guitar in to that second verse as well underneath everything, or is there a way to add some of the accent?
Well, yeah, we could do-
And I wonder if that would kind of cohesively put them together.
Maybe the first thing you could try is, Jimmy, is it that your guitar line, that cool one from the beginning? Is that you playing that, or who's playing
Is
that?
it? I think so.
Maybe. I don't know. We kind
of
of
us.
yeah.
I would try to like maybe see if that works in the second verse as well, kind of.
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm kind
I
of.
want to say we did do that, but it muddied everything up. But
Maybe.
but we could try it again. I mean, we're talking 5 years ago, so
Right. Exactly.
But I will say this though, it's like I think on this issue I want to defer to you, more specifically you, Mike, because I feel like you're more tuned into, like, what did you just make a reference to, a band you just made a reference to? I don't live in that world that often with those groups, so I know they do stuff like that though, so it's like I feel like I don't want to like make some kind of arbitrary like dopey pop decision based on like how I like to hear music.
well,
Well, right.
like I'll give you I'll give you a good example. So there's a Beartooth song called Skin, and it's very much in the beginning. It's very bass driven, and it's it's one beat, and then in the second verse they still keep that bass line going, but with the guitars helping out, and they double time it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did that 2 years ago. This is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like
Well,
it's
maybe there's a way for us to do that.
Songwriting wise, in the rock space,
Right.
I do feel like some variation is kind of nice, and it's kind of different. We don't necessarily have to live in a a
Well,
pop.
I guess what's also different about it too, like why I got confused on the first listen where it kind of threw me for a loop, was the vocals are reversed too. Like you start,
Yeah.
like, Jim's got vocals in the first, and then Mike, you're in on vocals in the second course. So it feels like a whole different world almost.
Yeah.
And that's what my concern is. Maybe it's as simple as maybe it should start out with, maybe we could flip the vocals around a little, try some different things just to kind of see how to unite them a little bit more. That's what it comes down to, is because I didn't recognize it as being another verse at first. That's what kind of like, and like I said, now since I've listened to it a bunch, I've kind of become accustomed to it, and I'm kind of like, yeah, it's cool, But
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that that's the right move,
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
we
totally
can definitely
understand
try
that.
a few different things.
I definitely, I'm open to trying stuff because, I mean, fuck, why not?
Oh, maybe some
But-
other instrument that's playing something that is a through line through both of them.
Yeah.
That's also not a main thing. Something that can, if it's a matter of like getting lost into where the song is, if there's something, even the slightest
Like
thing
a
that
common thread of
that
some sort.
ties it, it might be something that's
What about
worth
this?
doing.
What about here's an idea too. Is like maybe after the first chorus, right? So it's going to be like the more sludgier beat, maybe, right? And then instead of it jumping right into that double timed verse right there, maybe you bring back that guitar lick from the beginning, the
Yeah, even if it's short like that.
Yeah.
that might
You know
be
what I'm
something
saying?
to
Just
think
like-
too.
that might cure it for me. You know what I'm saying? Just like signaling, here's the verse again. You know, because Mike, you were right. There is like a common thread there with those rhythm guitars that go in there, the bow now and all that stuff. So that was, and I checked that. I was like, okay, so there is that uniting thing there, but how do we get it where we can kind of get that cool guitar thing in there too? You know,
Yeah.
and I think you might be right, Mike. It might muddy things up if it's actually playing during that part. But
Right.
can we start it with that, maybe? You know, like give it a little brief interlude of that again. Just be like,
What about even like doing a stop there where we do that riff where it's almost like a pan thing, like a
right? Yeah.
That could be something
Sure.
cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even I just thought of that right now. I didn't even have that in the notes. I was just like, wait a minute, what if we just bring that guitar over there, and kind of have that after the first chorus, like bang, there it is, and it's almost like a pole position kind of thing, where like bang, here
where it's
comes
like you're back here, but we're taking you somewhere
It's
else.
gonna
but we're going to take you somewhere else. It's like, yeah, and I think that's a good
Cue the
thing.
listener.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you get
Yeah.
them in your pocket, then like taking this journey with us, you know, because we're back at the verse, but it's going to be a different one, you know.
I like that.
Maybe try that.
Yeah.
you know, 'cause I
Definitely.
think
Yeah.
that-
Definitely stuff to try. Cool.
Cool, but everything else is like killer. Like this is like I said, this is like in a lot of ways the most complete song already. You know, it's got some. It's like this one was in a lot of ways like the defining song of the bunch in a way. You know, like
Oh, cool.
almost
Nice.
like the mission statement song. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was funny. I think this is one of the latter songs that we did.
It was.
It was one of the latter. The other one, the last one we're gonna do is probably the last one, and I never recorded bass to it.
Right.
Right, I noticed that. I was like,
But-
where's this?
Yeah,
It was another one that it was between that and another song
Yeah.
that was more complete. But for whatever reason, this one just kind of like had something to it where we were like, this one kind of lives with these other ones in a way that the other ones didn't.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All right, so are we good with
Yeah,
where
that-
we're at on
that-
this?
Yeah, we're good with that. I mean, I think
Cool.
like, you know, like I said, it's like, and these things are going to evolve. You know how the process goes. Like
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
try, you play with the ball now, and then by the time we hear it again, they'll be a little bit different, and then who knows, that'll spark another discussion of sorts.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a never-ending. It can be a never-ending process if you let it. You know.
Well, yeah.
It sure can.
Yeah.
It's all right. Just so people know, we're not really saying anything for reals yet, right? But
Right.
October's the first show,
Right.
so we have till October, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're gonna play a show in October.
Oh, okay. Sure. Okay.
We have to put a band together. For
Well,
it.
I mean, the recording doesn't have to be done,
Right.
But the structures have
the
to be done.
songs need to be okay.
Yeah, no. But that's why I'm here, is to like kind of help you guys come to a conclusion about what
Yep.
it's going to be. You know.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll do the last song here.
What's left? Is that what's left?
Yeah.
Is what's
What's left is what's left.
left.
Hey now, look at
Supernovae. It's so empty.
Another matter blame on me. Under fire and I just stop praying for anyone to come and save me. It's not that easy. Am I reason from all the shock of what you take from me? Just another since I stopped this shit.
love that ending too. That radio guitar makes its appearance a few times there. That's
A
cool.
couple times,
Yeah, yeah. It's like the cowbell
Right.
in Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yes, more, please, of all of it. This is good. Like in a lot of ways, I think this is the defining moment on how you utilize the vocals. Like it's really working. You know, little bit of the scream, a whole lot of harmony, fucking dope. You know.
This was the song. This was like this is I think the last song we wrote.
Yeah.
It sounds like
in that particular like batch, I guess you would say, because like it was before this became a studio.
Mm-hmm.
This was like
Right.
a dank ass garage, like a nasty fucking garage, 102 degrees in the summer, and we were writing stuff with this, and this was definitely like I remember this specifically being the pushing point, like where Jimmy was like, okay, well, you can do this, so you're going to do this. So that's why I was doing those higher harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
And where I was like, you need to sing with more aggression. And like
Right.
that's what sticks out about this song was that like we were like, okay, cool, asshole, you go. And then it's like, okay, asshole, you go, but do it better. And then that's where the real magic happened for me on this song.
I get it.
My first note is: do we both need to sing on those verses, or should that be just you?
I don't know, Dave.
I play me a verse one more time. Let me respond to this right.
You'll never see the strength. Lay your hands down. Take what's left. Right. You'll never see the strain on me. And I'll try to keep the mask from fading. Make a smile like the world can't shake me. It's never reason.
Okay. How about couldn't we do well, Jim, first of all, I love how you're utilizing the voice. Mike's right. Like it's like, you know, like you get more aggressive. It's interesting sounding. I don't hear that from you, you know, often, if at all. I don't think you brush up against it with Craving occasionally, you know?
Yeah, here
But
and
you
there.
don't commit to it for
barely,
a whole
right.
song like that. I want to hear you sing it. Can we do a split? Like where you do one verse, Mike does another? If you want to, if you think like the back and forth voices are too much.
I was just wondering if he should just do the verses. You know what I mean? And
I
then
like you on the verse though.
So
Yeah.
if that's the case, then
Well,
that's the case. But
again,
that's-
that was another reason why why we wrote the song the way we wrote it. It's
Yeah.
like
I like
it's
it.
like
I just want to make sure we're not
Pushing
doing,
each other.
We're not doing something that isn't the best sound for the song, just to be like,
Right.
hey, we're pushing each other and we're a team.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm trying to like not be in that headspace either.
No,
of being like, all right, well, who's the best person to do this part?
I honestly think though that I think it's really like this is like a new day here though, isn't it? Overall, it's like it's okay to do that. It's like I understand what you're saying, Jimmy, but like it's effective though. You know, it is effective.
If it's effective, then that's different. You know what I
It's
mean?
kinda
if
cool. It's like you
if
tried
it's
on
hitting,
clothes.
then cool.
yeah,
You know, I don't want it to hit like oh, I can tell that the guy that's singing the other parts of the verse probably doesn't do this a lot.
no, that's
Yeah,
your
but it
own.
doesn't come off
That's
that
your.
way.
You know what I
that's your
mean?
own
Like-
insecurity talking.
Okay. Yeah, it very well could be.
Because I heard it and I got excited by that. I'm like, oh wow, this is different and cool, different. Not like what you're doing different.
Okay,
You know,
cool.
it's like and Mike, what are you doing different? You're harmonizing. You're being a legit singer in this thing. Like it's like, and like you're maximizing your capabilities, and this is the perfect form to do it in.
Mhm.
Because you are kind of coming together here with the melange of styles that you both played with over the years, and you're throwing it in. Here's the kitchen sink, it's getting chucked in there, you know. It's like, so I want to hear those different voices, and I think in a lot of ways this is like it's kind of a defining statement like in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, maybe like the rest of the songs you do approach like this. Use that aggressive voice more, Jim. Mike, use that singing voice more. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I like it. It gives it more flavor. You don't get pigeonholed into, hey, Mike's the screamer, Jim's the crooner kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wanted to avoid that because I didn't want it to sound like, well, I mean, like you had a project like that already,
Right.
you know, and I've heard projects like that before too, where it's like, here's the role of this guy and here's the role of this guy.
Right.
I
great-
wanted to,
Well,
I wanted
the
to
reason-
feel cohesive, and I wanted to
The
feel
reason
like,
for a lot of that is because the screamer usually sucks.
fair.
And Mike, that is great. You are the best I've ever seen at that. As far as like anybody I know, like nobody
man.
does that
Oh,
shit
thank you.
better than you. It's like, but I will say this: like
you.
during the last Turn Off Broadway sessions, you know, with Tyler and Marla, I was like, God, he should do this more. You know, like when you sing the chorus of Tyler and Marla, you know, it's like, wow, it's like you can sing, like you can actually sing, and like, and your voices make a lot of sense together too. You know, it's like it all.
Yeah, that's one thing it was cool to hear is like, oh, good, we fill in spaces. You know?
Yeah, I think that I think LTOB in some ways fell into this like, well, the singing voice is kind of similar,
Right.
where it was an issue, but I feel like our voices contrast enough that it makes sense.
Yeah, that was a more defined situation where Artie was the singer, you know, kind of, and you were
Right.
the screamer, and like the fact that, but like I love the fact that like you could do that too in Tyler and Marla. I'm like, oh wait, he can sing too. It's not just, you know. But then like Artie was kind of like sidelined by that a little bit though in that chorus. It's like there wasn't a place for him almost, you know. He's singing
Right.
along, but like it's like, you know, that's usually his domain, you know.
Well, that's why I did all the backgrounds.
Right. It's like, right, but then when you see you doing it, it's like you can see you utilizing your singing more, and now here's the forum to do it, you know.
But yeah, the minute I heard the shit he did in Razor, the minute I heard that, I was like, you're singing all the time. Like, you have this, you have this. Where has this been?
Yeah,
I need to see this.
it's like I think the places you are screaming in these songs are pretty appropriate, though. It's not too much or anything, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah, so let's talk about the actual bones of this thing now.
Yeah.
you know? Now that we've established that, hell yeah, this fucking the voice thing works. You
Well,
know?
and does it need? And I know I'm saying this. I know it's me saying this. Does this song need a guitar solo?
I could see it.
So the original, after the bridge, instead of going right into the chorus, we did have a guitar solo.
Right.
How about this? I like the arrangement a lot. What if you put here's where I actually heard the guitar solo in the after the first chorus when it goes back to the verse up top of that second verse. That's where the guitar solo goes.
Oh,
Short and
Okay.
sweet.
I like that better.
I like it a lot better.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When I say guitar solo, we all know that I don't.
Oh, you're talking
mean-
like Frank.
I don't. Well, yeah. One, I can't do it. Two, we could find somebody else.
Right.
Three, you can't do Frank either.
No.
So it's like it's find a spot. So for me, guitar solos are like, does it need a melodic guitar moment? You know, whether that be me, you, or Frank, or get somebody to kind of
Or
chaos over it.
or put this out into the world. Or Dave.
Or Dave.
Oh, geez.
Putting you on the spot, baby.
Yeah, I mean, we could do like that. That would be cool. I mean, I feel like I've been a bass player for the last 5 fucking years for the most part. But
Nice. Well, these songs are gonna need bass too, so
oh, hey now.
I got one of those.
we got.
I got one of those right there.
Everybody that's watching right now sees how this part of it happens too.
Yeah.
It's you get someone to like the song, and then you get them to start talking about an instrument that they play, and then they start getting ideas for what to play, and then you go, "Why don't you just come in and lay it down?"
Actually, what I do have in mind for that spot though is something that would be in my wheelhouse for sure. You know,
Dude.
because I think like because
That
I'm
would be
thinking
awesome.
back, it's like when was the last fucking time I did a solo? I played on Brent Stover's record. a couple of years ago. It's more of a country rock. It's like country, but like modern country,
Yeah.
is like rock anyway. And he wanted a big. He's like, I want Slash November Rain kind of thing. He's like, I want that big, because it was like a longer like section. I'm going, oh man. So I just like, I don't even know how. I can't even remember how I went about it. I think I just played it a bunch of times and said, all right, I like that. That's gonna stay. All right, that's gonna stay. That might. Then finally, eventually, took a bunch of takes. So I was like, let me piece this fucking thing together. But it's like he was happy. I was like, all right,
That's all that matters.
It's like, but that was a couple of years ago, but I think I can do it again and come off the bench. Who knows?
Let's do it. Let's do it, Dave.
I love it, man.
Coming off the bench, out of retirement.
Then when we play in October, you can special guest and jump up on a song.
Oh, now you might be asking too much.
That's why I said October.
We're throwing it out there.
So I said October.
Yeah.
That way, neither of us have to learn your shit.
Well, let's see how it all unfolds. So. No, but I think
seeds.
I'm
planting seeds.
Planting seeds.
Yeah. But like
we don't really want to look for a guitar player, Dave. We really don't want to.
That's we'll figure it out for the record. For sure. You know what though? It's like that's the spot for it though, because it's like it could be a really cool like quick guitar solo up top.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we did for Ashes, Jim. Remember before the second?
Yeah.
Ashes?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
little
exactly
flare
what you're talking about.
Of something cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I think that could work, because I definitely heard it there. I'm like, nice bluesy ripping, maybe with some wah on it, like that kind of stuff, like real like Jerry Cantrell shit, like Man in the Box nonsense.
I love Jerry Cantrell. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
You know what? He is great. His amp,
he's incredible.
His Friedman amp, sounds great alone.
Yeah.
You can't hear it when it's playing with a band.
No. Yeah.
What they go through to get his guitar sounds on the record, like he uses like 5 different rigs, but all different mics on. It's fucking crazy.
Well, no, his
he uses like 5 rigs live too.
Yeah, live he uses, but like the Friedman amp, the Jerry Cantrell Friedman amp, Dan used to have. Well, I think he probably has. I haven't spoken to him, but like he brought it down and he started playing it. And I'm like, this is the greatest fucking amp ever. I'm so like, can I plug into it soon? And he's like, no, not right now. Let's play our set. We played our set. I didn't hear it at all.
Yeah, as soon as there's a drummer and a bass involved, because it's all low end and chunge. It's a chunge sound.
And Cantrell gets that perfect tone out of it too, where it's low mid, strong in the low mids, but people perceive it as low end, and everybody's cranking up their bass now.
Yeah.
That's not what you do to get that. It's like it's more of a low mid kind of thing, and it's not bass, and it's like, but it's fucking deadly. Over the last decade, nobody's been better than Jerry Cantrell at getting great rock guitar sounds. More than the last decade, but the modern sound that he's crafted has been fucking majestic.
Dude, he's
it's that word.
I
love that word.
He's one of my tone guys. Mike Ness, Jerry Cantrell. Those are my tone guys.
Oh yeah. The Mike Ness, like another one. Those guitar tones are pristine, man. They're just fucking great.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I got for this.
Okay.
Couple of things. Since we're talking about the being at the top of the second verse, part of my thing is this. That riff, the verse riff, is a monster. That bow, that whole thing. You got to start the song with that. You got to like that intro. No, just it's got to start with that. It's a monster hook.
I can hear that too. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're going back to Jerry Cantrell type things. Think Man in the Box.
Right.
You get that bow, wow, like that.
Yeah.
That kind of. I hear that. Yeah.
It's such a.
That's one of those things that I can't believe neither of us thought of.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I wrote this song with that intro riff in mind.
That's another
and
song.
We literally never go into it again throughout the rest of the song.
Anywhere else.
It might be another song on its own.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's cool,
It could.
but it has nothing to do with the rest of the tune. That's like that was the thing. It's like that never makes another appearance.
Right.
I didn't even think. I literally did not think of it until this moment.
Right.
Let it give birth to its own song because it's strong too.
It's one of those moments.
It is that moment.
I'm like, fuck. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay.
So that because that's just a monster chord progression, and it's like you can get so much mileage.
Yeah, it's a super cool riff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you hear it again, it'll be with the solo joining it. You know, it's going to be fun. All right. So what do you think I'm going to say about the bridge?
Absolutely nothing, because it's flawless.
I think he's going to say something about the transition into it.
No, actually, that's not it.
No, I don't think it's the transition.
I just picked that arbitrarily because
Okay.
because
Same
the
thing
transitions
as the
thus
other
far have been the thing.
Same thing as the other one. The drums are just out of hand. Basically.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, just dumb down the drums. Yeah.
Yeah, drums need to be dumbed down a bit. That's it. That was the big thing. I just want to see, like, because I said it before on the other one, and I'm like, "Hey, you gonna guess this probably?" Or what? You know? But, yeah, you got these great, cool monster like guitar figures going on in both of those bridges, and it's like, let the drums support it. You know, it's like I know that inclination is let's get them all busy and crazy. It's like, nah, the guitar's doing all that heavy lift, and let it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think, again, that's one of those things where I dropped a placeholder in, and then I was like, okay, cool, we can follow this to do the guitar riff. Like, where it was where it was one of those
I think you're right.
I
think the guitar riff was. I think the guitar riff was written off of those drums. I think you're right. Yeah. So it's like, I've definitely written guitar riffs before that then the bass has decided to do, and I've been like, well, I can't do it anymore then. Right. So this is probably one of those where we had a drum, guitar was written over it, the drums cannot do that anymore.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, I think
because we don't have a drummer to oppose that. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe just a bit of simplification on it. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a ton. It's like it's just a little less, you know, that's a little less. One other thing, like that I'm on the fence about, I'm not really sure what to do about because I don't not like what happens in it. Because when you're in that last chorus, I kind of missed a little disco beat, you know, when it goes to like the little like when it go. You kind of like shank that in the last chorus. We don't hear that beat change in the chorus anymore.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's not a problem. I was like, oh, should it be in there?
The disco beat should be everywhere.
I have to tell you, chances are, thinking about it, there's a good chance that the disco beat isn't in that last chorus because we had so much whiskey at that point.
That's probably
that I copied and pasted the wrong stuff.
It kind of works though too with that it's staying at that beat for the whole time when you change it. I mean, but that's a great moment when it shifts into the beat change and you feel that pocket shift like that.
Yeah,
it's a hook in its own right. I kind of like it this way too, but like, could we have more mileage out of it? Maybe we could double up and have both, and then it does.
I'm fine with putting the disco beat back.
Even if it doesn't fit, I'm team disco beat.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Do you not like the disco beat thing?
Oh no, I love disco beats.
I was going to say.
No, I love that part. That's one of the cool things that.
No, I love
this
that.
song does.
I would put disco beats in every song I could because I like anything that makes asses shake.
I was going to say, do I have to remind you about what you did with Always Know?
What you did?
Like I had no part in it.
Right, yeah.
No,
I seem to remember both of us listening to Ariana Grande.
We got into a lot of trouble that night.
Listen, man, Ariana Grande may be a terrible person.
Is she?
But
is she a terrible person?
Yeah, she's a piece of shit.
Just because she dated Pete Davidson?
No. Everybody's dated him. I'd be saying that about Kate Beckinsale. Nobody's saying that about Kate Beckinsale isn't a terrible person.
BDE, baby. He's got the BDE.
No. She's just an asshole. Just in general, from all accounts.
Gotcha.
But as far as pop songs and delicious singing and stuff like that,
she's good at what she does.
She's very good at that.
She's very good at what she does.
Sure. No, I like that whole, like, I mean, we got into a bunch of fucking situations. We did a lot of things we wouldn't normally do on Always and Now. So,
absolutely.
I loved all of them.
Absolutely. I would have done more. I just knew that I was going to be vetoed.
When he kept coming in on Sundays with like different mixes and like, yo, we tried this and we tried this. I was just like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Can we? Yes.
Yeah, to this, like, it shot up to the most listened to thing we've ever done.
Because it's great.
Quickly. And I don't see anything topping it.
Really? Does it have?
It's a real departure. It's a real departure.
By far. Like, by far. It went up to like 20,000 quickly. And it was like, oh shit. Okay.
It's a real departure from what you do, though.
Right. What does that tell me? I should make more dance songs.
Don't tell that to the rest of your band.
I won't tell that to the rest of my band.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was definitely like those 3 songs were definitely like a whole different barrel of stuff, wasn't it? I mean, it was
Loved it.
Craving definitely trying some different stuff, which is nice.
That's one of the cool things about this is the approach of doing it like a collection versus what I've been doing for the last 3 years.
It's write for a record,
You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah, we're writing for a record as opposed to writing for a single.
It's funny too because if you look at the stuff that we did release, like 2 of those things were part of this.
Right.
You
right.
know,
2 of the songs.
Death Be a
were.
Woman was a whole.
Death Be a
world.
Woman was really the reason why we got back together because
Yeah.
we had all of those songs already, and then he was like, "Hey, John wants us to write a song." I was like, "Us?" He's like, "Yeah, I told him us."
So that's how the podcast started.
It's like, yeah,
Because I said yes.
So we wrote a Tito and the Tarantula song.
Well, we did our best job approximating a Tito and the Tarantulas.
Right. I still have the guitar sound in my Helix, which
is
by the
good.
way. Yeah,
Which is
Spanish Fly.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, but if you think about it, those other 2 songs could have been in this.
Oh, very, very well. I mean, they probably would have bumped the songs that we were questionable about.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
So I definitely agree with starting with the riff, and I definitely agree with simplifying those drums. What else did you have on this song?
I didn't actually. I mean, I think that's all I had written down because I feel like it's pretty fucking there,
Yeah, I think vocally it's going to be all in the performance.
It's funny because it was the last one we did, and also like sonically, demo wise, we can all agree that it's probably the least finished demo wise sonically.
Right.
But in terms of a song, I think this, and the reason why I picked this over the other choice that we had was because I felt like this was definitely the most done song. I would argue with you, Dave, if we really wanted to argue, that this is probably more done than the last song we did.
Right. Okay. It is pretty like far along in its arrangement wise, it's like it is. Yeah. I mean, like, but it's, I guess now hearing it could be, but I think like in a lot of ways, like love the way you suffer. That chorus is epic though, man. It's like there's something to that. It's just,
it's a different, different animal. Which is what I love about these songs is that I don't think that we have something like you're not going to get a song that sounds like the other song.
No.
Here. So if like at first when you mentioned doing the stops and then doing a stop at another spot, I was a little worried about it. Like in my head, like, oh well, yeah, but we're
doing the same thing
here.
in 2 songs. Yeah,
But the songs are different enough that if we bring those elements into more than 1 or 2 or 3 songs, it's not going to really affect that.
Yeah, because it's really like about what's right for the individual tune, not so much. It's like, yeah, sure, you want some variety, of course, but I feel like it's not really like they're not intruding on each other.
No, not at all.
What were your feelings since we did write them, and we touched on a little bit at the beginning, but since we did write them, like literally, here you write a part of this verse, here you write a part of this verse, lyrically, what were your feelings? Were you noticing things where you were like, you should tighten up this, or here's where you should stick on this part of the song and get around that, or do you think they flow all right?
No, I think they flow pretty well. I mean, it's like, I guess, like, my concerns were what I said earlier, that, like, I get worried, I get concerned about, like, it's not the storytelling thing at all.
Yeah.
It's, like, something different, It's not even about worried. I mean, it's just a different flavor. But I think, like, if you're ever going to venture into that kind of territory, this is the right sound for it, I suppose, and the right forum to experiment with this kind of tag team way of doing things.
I made a note on something that I heard on
Mm.
something that I sang, and I was like, "Wow, I don't like the way you enunciated that. Fix that." So I put that.
There's. I mean, the
I usually
way
get-
Well, but again,
I don't
this
like
is
the way I sung
literally.
anything.
This is literally like we wrote it, and then like maybe a minute later,
Yeah.
we recorded it. So
Yeah, we wrote it with a mic sitting in front of us. And
Right.
we're like, okay, go. And then
yeah,
did it.
that's right. Yeah, we had 2 tracks, right? So we wrote the instrumental, and then we had 2 tracks, and I would swap between 2 of them, and
Right.
he would have the mic, and then I would have the mic, and except for the last one. The last one was we both had mics,
Yeah.
and that's what pushed us to bust each other's balls.
But I definitely like that's one of the things from I haven't dove back into the lyrics of everything.
Yeah.
I know I definitely am going to, and
We're gonna have to.
I'm sure I'll change things here and there. But that's I was just wondering if there was anything that stuck out to you because, I also lyrically, catching a vibe is one thing and telling a story is another thing. But I don't want to sacrifice if there's a way to make something more coherent or to communicate. Because to me, songwriting is still communication.
Mm-hmm.
So I want every song to still communicate, even if it's a shared idea. I just want to make sure that we're sharing the idea in the most coherent way,
Right.
that we can. So that's I was just wondering if anything popped out to you.
No, I'd have to kind of like focus on that directly a little bit, like maybe
Yeah.
seeing the lyrics in front of me kind of thing and like reading into it a little bit. But because I think I took note of the fact that like, wow, it's dark. Like the
Yeah.
lyrics are dark and men of a certain age writing that kind of stuff is like, is that really what's in your heart kind of stuff?
Right,
Like,
right.
that was what I was thinking more than anything was as long as you feel that connection to it, it's okay.
Are we too old to be this mad?
You know what? It's so. What's
Shit! Fuck, dude.
Hey, man.
We're doing something wrong.
Listen, all I'm going to say is that my age helps the average. Just throwing that out there, buddy.
That's true. You are a little bit young.
I'll punch you right in the dick.
I know you will.
No,
But I do.
I am
But
ageless,
I do think.
my friend.
I know you.
I'm like a
are.
porcelain doll.
Yeah. What I will say though is like, in terms of the writing and stuff like that, when I started something, I definitely told him a lot about like where I was.
Yeah.
And this goes to like, hey, if you're in a band and you don't have somebody else outside of your band that's able to be objective and like be that person, or even simplify like outside of your marriage,
Right.
if you don't have that person, it makes life really hard. And I was going through a rough time with LTOB, and I think you were going through a rough time with Pretty Strange. So the fact that we were able to be there for each other, and how do we move on? I legit was like, and this was just prior to getting together with you, Dave, and it was like, okay, well, I want to do this musically. How do I move on if I can't do that?
Right.
And it got him in that headspace, and that's how we're able to do that. And I think that Razor started with his chorus, and he talked to me about that relationship, regardless of if it's boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever it is.
Whatever it is,
like
it's
being that.
when you finish, they still leave the things that.
Right. They still
That
leave
cut
a
you.
mark on you that
Yeah.
cuts you and shit like that. And it's like,
Every day. you're
okay,
like,
cool.
"Fuck."
Wow, I can relate to that because I deal with it. I've dealt with it. I've whatever. So when it came to the lyrics, I think like for me personally, I don't know about you, but like that's what always has made our friendship work is the fact that we've been able to
we can pick up on
be
shit.
vulnerable.
Right.
Whereas with a lot of other people,
we almost push each other too.
Yeah.
We're like, dude, get it out.
Yeah.
Like, fucking come on.
And I talk about it all the time with like Jen, where she's just kind of like that person who's like, oh, you like, there's something going on in your head, like something is happening. Go outside and record it, get it out, just get it out. And
it's interesting though.
He's very much like that. Where I brought up a thing, he's like, okay, cool, like yeah, I felt that. And then he taps into it, or if vice versa, where he's felt something, and I go, okay, yeah, I'll tap into that.
All right.
This is truly like a different situation, but I like what everything you guys were just saying. Like you just revealed that, like, yes, you are connected to these songs in that way you need to be. It's like,
yeah,
and that's what I was worried about. Is this just random musings, or is this really like the real deal? And like you really did say that right with those statements that it's good to get that backstory on it to kind of know where it's coming from, and so it's authentic because it has to be authentic. That's my whole big
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah.
nothing was there was never a make it rhyme type thing.
Right.
It was always and well, because sometimes it can be that.
Oh hell yeah!
Sometimes it can be that.
No, I understand.
And this was not.
And I was and a concern also is like you guys are both, and Jimmy, forever you've been the chief cook in the kitchen with your band. It's like you're the creative axis on that band spins on. And Mike, even the last couple of years with Something Heavy, that's your ball, post LTOB. It's like so you guys are used to like running your shows and kind of doing it to where you see fit. So when you get together and this is true collaboration, that's kind of a wild card. You don't know where that's going to end up sometimes, especially with two strong personalities. But you also, Mike, you just said something great. You said the vulnerability factor. If you're truly there, both of you, with that, then that's what's going to make it work.
Honestly, it's the only way to make
yes.
a musical situation work.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and I'm feeling that, and I like that a lot. I think, and it's like it's growing into its own animal, because even if like when you think of like some of the greats out there who were like known collaborators, Lennon, McCartney, right? Like that's on every song. But the truth of the matter is, after the first couple of records, they weren't really collaborating anymore. They were right. Like, what a Paul song was, Yesterday, and fucking, and Let It Be and stuff like that. And then you knew what a John song was with Revolution and Come Together and stuff like that. It was, so it all said Lennon McCartney, but that partnership was kind of collaboration, like didn't go past 65 for the most part, right. But that's what like everybody kind of thinks of it. This is a real collaboration though. It's like, it's hard to intermingle yourself and co-write for real. It's not easy.
It was honestly easier than I thought it would be. I'll like, for my part, I'll be honest with it, because
it's a different experience. That's
a completely different experience, but it was super cool to like, I don't know. It was.
I use the lube, Dave.
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't feel lube. Like. What's funny is it never feels like taking. It feels like, okay, what can I give? I never feel like I need what. I never worry about like what I'm getting from you in this. It's always kind of like, okay, what can I add to this that doesn't take away from what you're doing, but that how do I put a piece into this puzzle that maybe you wouldn't think of, or that adds to it in some way.
Right.
So it was never, and there's never ever been a thing. People could say what they want about me. I know a lot of them do, but
he's so hard to work with.
I'm not a selfish writer. As much as that might go around, like I'm always like, my whole thing is like, the song is the God. I serve the God. of the song.
We joke about it because he's been
Yes.
told,
I've been
told that he's hard to work with.
Right.
And he's like, well, they're like, well, and I was like, no, I see him twice a week now. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have that like there. So what are you doing wrong?
My favorite thing to do is to take a step back and let someone be awesome. Like that's, you know what I mean?
Same here.
Like that's the coolest thing, because there are so many times in these songs where I pulled back for a second, and even if I thought of like, okay, this should do this or this should do that, being able to go like, okay, let's see what you do, and then like something you'll do is like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Okay, let me scratch what I was gonna do because that's awesome, and I need to piggyback off that because that's the idea, and that's the thing.
It's a cool experience, and like you're finding the experience creatively stimulating because
very.
I think like honestly, it's like everybody has a role in craving, but you're the one who generates the material. Right. I mean, it's like look, everybody contributes. Frank, Chris, Monty, they're all bringing themselves to it, and that's what makes the band great. But that lies on you. It's like in this situation, you have somebody like you can kind of share that with, and and it's a whole different dynamic. Completely.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's inspiring, and it's artistically very motivating.
Yeah, this can help the craving thing. Like this will like
it has different. It absolutely has. Like I'll say like this playing in Crash Transit for the time that I played in Crash Transit, like being able to work with other songwriters, which is never something I did before, and this is. In no way, I get in trouble sometimes when I say people aren't songwriters.
I know, that's why I'm dancing around this very carefully. What I'm saying.
But the very I guess the definition of a songwriter in the way that I see it is lyrics and melody.
Absolutely. You and I are always been in agreement on that, though.
Yeah. So to me, a songwriter writes lyrics and melody. Everything else accompanies that song. It doesn't make anything else less important. Yeah, it doesn't make anything else less important than that. But in my definition, and maybe it's a narrow one, and maybe it's wrong, but it's my definition of a songwriter is lyrics and melody. So,
it's true.
The only time I've gotten to work with other songwriters are different periods in my life where, when I was younger, I was working with songwriters that I felt intimidated by. And so I felt like I was just lucky to be there, and I was hoping to just contribute in whatever small way that I could. And then as I became a more well-rounded songwriter and got more confidence in what I was doing, I approached working with other songwriters in a different way of like, cool, I can't wait to learn from you, and I also can't wait to add to what you do. And coming at it with that mindset, like not coming at it at all with like I'm lucky to be here, and also not coming at it with a sense of you're lucky to be here. It's like cool, I can't wait to work with what you do because I don't get to, and this is awesome, and I can't wait to show you what you does for me creatively and what I'm coming up with, because I want to test myself and see if you like it, and I think it's going to make something cool. So this is like,
I think that you bring that up, and it's like, for me, that I want to write with, when we talked about writing together, I wanted to write with writers that I'm intimidated by, because you need to test yourself, right? If you're going to be a better writer,
well, right, yeah.
you have to test yourself. If you want to be a better musician, you have to test yourself and put yourself in a situation with better musicians. And if you're humbled, cool. Like, dude, one of my most humbling experiences ever was trying out for American Idol. Like,
Oh,
I
wow.
just
seeing people sing and like go off into the corner and like be warming up and just like going to take a piss and then coming back and going, I'm ready to drive 4 hours back home because I don't belong here.
right.
If you're not willing to like just push yourself, what are you doing this for? You know, and that's what I felt with you is like, man, I really respect this songwriter. I'm intimidated by it.
And
But
then
I
he
need
worked
to-
with me.
What?
And then he worked with me, and he was like, "Oh,
Well, no, but
why
you
did
know
I
what?
think this was a big deal?"
Yeah, but you know what? We legitimately pushed each other though.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that's the thing
Absolutely.
is and it wasn't a all one side thing where
Yeah.
it was like, oh, this everything you do is so great, and same here.
Right,
It's
right.
like you weren't like, oh, Mike, everything you do is so great, and that's refreshing to me because I have a situation like that where it's like, okay, fine, we're just gonna keep going that way.
Don't you think that songwriters, when good songwriters get together, it's kind of like the mutual admiration society in a lot of ways. It's like, you may go in personally. Like usually when I go into a situation, I assume I'm going to have the least amount of ideas. And like you said, Mike, I suck. And like, I'm going to feed off these guys. But I think everybody kind of goes into it like that though. Don't they?
I think there's a
That's
little
when
bit
the
of-
results are there,
I know people that don't. Like,
No,
don't get me wrong. I do know people that don't.
See,
They're not very good, but
No, but I'll
I
say
know.
honestly,
I probably
like,
think I know who you're talking about, by the way.
yeah,
but
I do too.
But
no,
the point being, like the real deal songwriters, you want to be a sponge and soak up who you're working with and kind of get all that goodness from it. But at the same time, you're going to have your fucking ideas too, and you're going to come to the best conclusions if you're confident in yourself. And you guys are confident and in places where like you can share the songwriting duties and like really see what it is without it being a fucking argument and without it being a big fucking to do, because nobody.
but you know what the other thing too is, and again this comes with like the, I don't know what you want to call it, just like the recording revolution or whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is that like, and I always just I told this to him. I was like, dude, if you think that we should do something else, let's just fucking try it, because
yeah,
it costs us nothing
right.
to put a spot in another spot or record this spot in this spot, because I'm recording it. Like,
there's a lot of
I'm doing
freedom
it
in
right
that.
here. So like, let's try and get it right the first time. If we don't get it right the first time, cool. We just hit Control Z, undo,
Yeah.
and we're good.
No, but there's something to living in the moment like that I like.
Right.
Yeah,
Urgent.
me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I learned a whole new way of approaching songwriting from doing this, which was really cool. And like you guys were saying, like I don't necessarily think, I didn't come into this situation intimidated. I came in with an incredible amount of respect, but I didn't come in intimidated. I came in with like this idea of like, this is going to be awesome because we're really going to push each other and add shit.
Intimidated is
to
the
each
wrong
other's
word. I should have used
stuff.
humbled. Actually, you come in humble. Like that's
Yes.
what I should have said. It's not really intimidated. It's like, but you can't. I approach it like
Yeah.
you got to come in with an open heart, and you got to be.
Oh,
humble.
yeah,
even if you
absolutely.
think
Like-
you're the bee's knees as a writer and shit. You come in and you go, no, these are good writers too. Great, who I'm going to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think there's a healthy amount of like you have to have a little bit of, you have to have a little bit of an ego to even do this,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And ego, and not in a bad way, but like
No.
like just believing in yourself and believing that you have something to offer. And I think we both knew that. We both came into this going like, yeah, I have something to offer to this.
Yeah.
Like, and we didn't know if it was going to be like, I think these things are going to work together in a cool way because of how things have gone so far,
Yeah.
right? But this is going to be cool because I'm going to learn a lot from this other person's process, and I like their songs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be cool. So even if we don't, to me, I was like, even if we don't make anything that's great, I'm going to learn your process, which is going to help and change my process, because
more
I love your
tools for the
songs.
toolbox.
Exactly. And it's and that's the same thing I did with you, Dave, coming to you. Like I've gotten better at production or voicing my ideas or even coming up with my favorite day of recording is overdub day. You know, like those are my favorite fucking days. And I got better at that from, you know, sitting under the learning tree of Jimmy Tassone, and then coming and sitting under the learning tree of Dave, and getting to kind of like soak that up and absorb that, but also not being afraid to interject with an idea when I have one, you know, and be like, what about this? What about this? Or let me show you. Let me just show you what I have. And the fact that like I've worked with people that were open enough to being like, yeah, let me see your idea. And then some of those ideas made it and worked. It was kind of like, oh shit, cool. I can learn this. I can come up with good things here too. I can add to the process. I'm not just taking.
Right.
And so that's where my mindset kind of always is walking into the situation now, is like, cool, I can't wait to see what you guys have in mind. And I can't wait to see where that leads me into thinking what I can add to it.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
See, I came into this with like way different, because you've come like, hey dude, what are you doing tonight? I need to get out of rehearsal. Once I get out of rehearsal, like, let's hang out.
right.
And like me having a fire outside and just sitting at our bar, and you're like, hey, yeah, I wrote this song tonight because of this. And you have my enemies look like my friends.
Right.
The whole song, like, done on a demo, like a fucking phone demo. And I'm like, oh wow. Like, oh, cool. Yeah, you're awesome. Like, thanks. It's great. And then you like coming to me and being like, yeah, we should write together. I'm like, cool. Yeah, I can do stuff. And then you sent me the riff and this is why I know The Surface is the first song we wrote together.
Right.
Well, no, we have another song that we wrote together. We kicked it out of the running. I found it.
Okay.
And it's me. But that's why it's not on this show.
Right.
But you sent me The Surface. You sent me the riff of the verse, and then the chorus, and I was like, "This is my shot. I need to fucking write to this, otherwise, I'm useless."
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
To the situation. No, not
at all.
No, and that's kind of how I treated it. It was like,
I thought you were
okay,
like,
here's my
I've got it.
Here's my tryout. Well, the riff is awesome. The riff is great.
Well, you, like,
so
you had
it made it super easy to do. And that's why I like did it in a day, and that's why we got together the next day. But for me, it was like okay, here's my shot. I'm gonna figure something out for it, and then I did.
Oh shit!
That's where
I
that's
sent it
where
to you
I
because
sit.
I had a block and I couldn't write anything to it, and I was like, you need to do this
Oh, okay.
because I don't have it.
Yeah.
I don't have it. You've got it.
Okay.
And then a day later, you had it. So I was like, we're in. This is gonna be great.
It's pretty cool, but it's nice to like work like it's wild because when you're in a band, it's like there's different characters and people playing different roles and stuff, and there's usually, and like I remember like I used to fulfill that role when I was back in my band days where I was like just contributing like to other people's songs more than doing my own. But then as it kept going along, I was writing more again, and then it became a completely different dynamic all of a sudden. Yeah. It's like it can change things. So just having a forum where it's like two songwriters collaborating as opposed to Jimmy, you're used to collaborating with, a really great guitar player and a great drummer and a great bassist. And like those songs aren't those songs without their arrangements.
Absolutely.
And their blood and sweat going into it, you know.
It's
So
just different.
it's just different, exactly. And it's like, but like songwriting is not what they do, you know. But they contribute to your songs to where they make it their own, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why you see bands splitting royalties on things, because they know it wouldn't be the same without them. You know,
Yeah.
even if I wrote the song, technically you share the wealth sometimes.
Absolutely,
because-
that's what we do.
yeah, because like when Kiss used to do it back in the early days, they went everything 4 ways. Even though, like, you know, you'd have Gene writing something, Paul writing stuff, and then Ace would contribute with a couple of tunes.
Nobody wants to be Peter Criss.
Exactly.
Peter Criss.
That's the bottom line to everything. like somebody asked me, why do I have Peter Criss in the bathroom here at my place? His picture hanging up. I was like, where else am I putting Peter Criss? I'm putting him in the bathroom, you know?
Because that's the only way everyone will see him.
It's like somebody had to go in the bathroom. It wasn't going to be Ace, you know? I mean,
Right.
come on. It's not going to be Paul.
People will look for Ace in other rooms. People have to find Peter.
Well,
actually,
Dave,
You do realize Gene's hidden, right? Gene hides behind that fucking like tarp
Yeah.
hanging up.
Yep, I know.
Yeah.
I know where Gene is.
Yeah, he
well,
hides.
by the way, Gene will record a song for you. With you, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
With you for $6,000.
Oh, really?
only
That's
$6,000.
all?
That's
Only
all.
$6,000.
I have already texted Frank. I said, this is, I just put things Frank will spend his money on. And I sent him the article.
Well, Frank's got to start saving his pennies. They announced the final 2 shows on Howard.
I know. In December, right? Final 2 for real.
For
Yeah,
what?
I'm gonna
Kiss at the Garden.
Yeah.
They're ending it where they began.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's over.
That's
They're
what they
70.
said.
Gene's
Yeah.
going to be 74 and Paul's 71. They're done.
Huh? Okay. All right. Whatever you say.
No, their performing career is over. That doesn't mean Kiss won't exist in some format.
Oh yeah, it'll be yeah.
James Bond. James Bond.
My prediction
Batman.
is this. My prediction is they'll have some sort of reality show where they pick the replacements.
Yeah.
And they will have an official Kiss band
I
that
could see
sets
that.
up shop in Vegas with a residency. Go see the Kiss experience, the official Kiss experience. But they're done as far as performing, though, no doubt.
Yeah, they'll pick their replacements.
Gene's been complaining for 3 years now. Like, when can we end this already? He's done. It's like he's literally had enough. And,
Yeah,
and Paul's
Paul said they would have
Paul's
been done
place.
had it not been for COVID.
well, that did make it seem more absurd. It's like it's still going on. It makes everybody think they've been on this tour for 4 years. Yeah, but 2
Right.
of those nobody was doing it.
right.
So look, they have a right to think that way because look, the farewell tour in 2000 wasn't really a farewell tour.
That's true. That's true.
It was farewell to Peter and Ace, is what it was.
Well, and Ozzy's done too. So the 2 that keep coming back, finishing it up. Ozzy can't do it health wise.
No, he officially.
No, and neither
did
can
it.
Gene and Paul, honestly.
Wow, right? Yeah.
Paul's voice is like he just doesn't have it anymore.
He's got to go sing for his
Soul Station,
Soul Station.
which I'll go see that because that'll come around eventually. So
I would go see that too. That was fun. The few times I saw a couple things about that.
it's fun. It's fun, and he never got to
It's like
tour.
a lounge act. It's great.
It's Motown. He has a Motown band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a
pretty
soul
awesome. And I
Okay.
love Motown. So
and it's half a Kiss. Eric Singer plays drums, so it's half of them. So right,
he's a great drummer.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we are past our time restraints. Not by much, though. Not by much.
No,
though.
we don't have time restraints.
pretty good.
That's why. So when we officially announced this, it was like we're gonna go from 9 to 11,
Ish.
and then I said, just before the first episode, I said change everything to 9 because I don't think that we can listen to these 5 songs twice
Right.
and hit 2 hours.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Yeah.
And we didn't reach 2 hours, but now this time we did reach 2 hours. We've cleared the 2 hour mark. And
Yeah, well, these things take on a life of their own. I mean,
They
come on.
do.
right.
No,
That's why I need to leave it open ended, and that's why I've got some notes.
we've got notes.
We've got notes, and what we're going to do is next week we will go through the notes. We will start working on such things. We'll re-demo things.
I
We'll
also have many
send
notes. I have all kinds of notes.
we'll send new demos to Dave
Yeah.
for approval, and then and then we'll take it from there. So the next
we gotta
couple
figure
of
out.
weeks.
We got to figure out now how we're going to approach.
Well, I think
things.
the next couple of weeks we touch on
Just do a song at a time, maybe, or
one or two songs at a time. Like,
So are you guys going to work on this stuff in front of like the camera thing? Like the
Yeah.
week?
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna
cool.
legitimately work on it in front of the camera. I'm gonna import tracks. We
We're gonna
work
sit
with
here
the Logic
mics, we're
right
gonna
up
do
front.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. And then like you'll go through that, and then when you're ready to send me stuff, then we'll do this again, and then we'll have another powwow about it. You know.
yep,
Once we're at the point where we're ready to like get people, then we'll start talking about how we're going to do that.
yep.
Yeah, this
Hence
is
why
fun.
show in October.
Yeah.
This is different. A lot of work, but like it's cool though. It's like, it gives people really give a flying fuck. They can look in and see what's going on. It's like
Exactly. And you know what? It only stays online for 2 weeks, so then it's gone. So they get a small chance to check it out.
I'm like, look, we're not naming names. We're all good.
We're
I mean,
we're
little-
recording them anyway. We'll probably put it out at some
We'll
point.
put it out at some point. Yeah, why not? But David, thank you for joining us. Everybody who's hanging out with us, thank you for joining
thanks
us.
for
Anybody who
watching.
watches it afterwards,
Thank you.
again,
for
you only
joining
got 2 weeks to do it, so thank you so much. And we'll see you. We're trying to figure out next week. We got to talk next week.
us. Yeah.
Because we're supposed to go to DC. Maybe we do this and then we go right out to DC.
What are you doing
Maybe.
in DC?
We'll talk afterwards.
All right.
We'll talk afterwards. So
Not for
everybody, come back next week. We'll have something. We'll have
Yeah.
something or
Some will be
another.
here.
We'll figure it out.
It might be short, but it'll be here.
But it'll be here.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Later. World peace. What's your bacon?